Laredo, take us out.
Take her out.
All right! Blast off! Take flight each and every Friday night. Join the fun and let's go off-world. Geek out with us live where the nerdiness will thrive. Buckle up and let's go off-world. Toys, comics, pop culture news, movies and so much more. Matthew, Jesse, Curtis, and Sean are your guides on this fun-filled tour. Blast off! Take flight each and every Friday night. Join the fun and let's go off-world. Let's go off-world. Let's go off-world. Hey, hey, hey! Let's go off-world tonight.
Good evening. Happy Friday, everybody. It is OffWorld. This is OffWorld 2.0, which basically means that none of my co-hosts could be bothered to be here because they're a bunch of bums. Jesse is playing D&D, which is apparently more important than hanging out here with you lovely folks. Dooch is just a douche, and that's all there is to that. And Sean is ignoring me. So I'm not sure if he's going to show up or not. So we continue. We continue with our interviews. And tonight we have two lovely candidates. We have got Ryan Gonzalez. Rygon, how you doing, sir?
I am pretty good. I am happy to be here. Always pumped when the fucking off-world music hits.
Mm-hmm.
Found myself nodding my head again. It's great.
Yeah, Jeremy killed that. So it's one of those earworms that definitely gets stuck in there and you can't get it out. So Oz, Chris, which is Oz, if you haven't watched his shows, Ostradamus Toys. Oz, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great. Friggin', long ass week of work. And I love the build up to the weekend that I get these days, because Thursday nights we do the Toy Frenzy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then tonight I was super psyched because I was going to be here. Always love a chance to go off world. And then, going into the rest of the weekend, what's not to celebrate and be pumped and excited for?
Yeah, I mean, for folks that haven't seen you, I don't know how they haven't because you're the only person on YouTube more than me. Pretty much every night of the week you're somewhere.
Somewhere, man. That's definitely it.
And Ryan, obviously, you can see on Saturday Day Live. It's posted in the Dork Layer group as well as on Jonathan Hedgehog's YouTube page. Love the Saturday Day Lives. And then sometimes Sunday Day Live. It just it's Saturday on Sunday. Yeah. I don't know. It just kind of moves around, but
it depends.
Just stay tuned because they'll let you know if they're moving it. Gonna call out some folks in chat here. Looks like we've got Joe Gonzalez with us as always. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate your support. JMax77, Jacob Forna, Thanos Copter. We've got River Swift, Danny. Hey, Danny.
Yeah.
Danny, no Jesse for a little bit. He'll be here after D&D, which is usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours into the show if we're still going. But yeah, we can definitely talk about Mayo then. So,
hey, look, I'm just saying, if I'm here, there's like a mandatory 3.5 to 5 hour stream time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like how it goes, right? If I'm here, we're going to be streaming all night, so
that works. That works. I got nothing to do. It's the freaking weekend, baby. So, yeah, about to have me some fun. Plus, I got a little nap today, and I tell you what,
same.
You get into your 40s, you get that little midday nap, man, you're good to fucking go, man. That's like, whew, that's the best thing around.
It's funny how as you get older, those things that your parents used to use for punishment become like your life.
Yeah.
Like go to your room, gladly,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
freaking go take a nap. All right, don't argue with me. I'm gonna spank you. Well, don't threaten me with a good time.
We see a little bit into the mind of Oz.
Don't go there. Ooh, scary place.
Well, we typically start off the show with just kind of looking at any new toys that you guys got, any show pickups. So start off with Ryan. Ryan, you got anything new and exciting?
I got the reinforcements wave all in. It came in
Ooh,
Wednesday. I've only opened this guy.
Phalanx.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, such a cool looking figure.
And then this one I was 100% surprised by, dude. I'm so happy to get this guy in.
Oh, yeah. The only thing I don't like about that character is the hooves. I'll probably change it out for like the spiky or maybe the armored knight feet. But I love the colors, love the overall look. It's so cool. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I think I might even have a couple extra of those Xylona shields from the Xylernian Guard, and that might look cool on him too. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I think that, dude, especially with the color scheme, I think it would be perfect. I honestly thought we would get like an updated shield. I'm happy with what we got, but it would have been cool to get that emblem with that shield. But it is what it is. I'm not complaining.
I just hope we get the other factions that we haven't seen yet with that shield. That'd be cool. So any other pickups or just the reinforcements?
Just that for this week anyway.
Okay. Cool. Oz, you got any new cool stuff to show off?
Well, I've been in a bit of a holding freeze, of course, because we're coming up on Legends Con, so like I ain't got money for anything else. However, my Masters of the Universe brothers have blessed me with Cobra Khan. Finally.
Hold on, let me embiggen you. Oh, nice.
Ooh, yeah.
And that's the Origins.
Finally got this guy. Yeah. Unfortunately, no squirt action, but you know, it's all right. I'll forgive for not being a squirter. Not everybody can do it. Then
maybe he just needs to try harder.
That's right.
He hasn't found the right owner yet.
Well, let's see what I can do. But over here, just this past weekend, I finally built the Origin Snake Mountain. So that's nice. Looking beautiful and pristine and taller than Castle Grayskull, the way it should be. So that's gorgeous. And just overall, I'm excited for tomorrow because everybody finally got them. Everybody's going to be available tomorrow night at the clubhouse. We're opening the Mask of the Red Death finally.
Oh, nice.
I've been toy edging with this thing for a month now.
What are your thoughts on that Snake Mountain, like overall? Like, because I've seen the Castle Grayskull version, which, I mean, the shape of it's pretty good. The color I thought was a little too like
peppy, right? A little
green.
Too bright,
yeah,
right?
It looked a little childish, but I haven't really seen the Snake Mountain. What are your thoughts on that overall?
So color wise, thank God it's not that god awful bright. Like, I don't know what they did to rush that thing out at San Diego last year, but the colors on it were just way too bright and peppy. So the color tone is more muted. It's a lot darker now. That's amazing. All of the added elements to the interior finally gives you like more of that. This is a play set and less of a facade for a dio, which is nice. Okay. Especially like it's such a weird touch, but just these little vines here over that little hole that was in the front. Like, I mean, just something simple like that makes that seem like more of a secret entrance now than before. Like, hey guys, here's this gaping hole into the back of our fortress. Come on in, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Skeletor had some sort of, designer that came out there and he was like, hey, want to try to do like a feng shui thing. And Maybe start with some drapes. Do you have anything,
Some drapes, little dungeon over here. Let's get rid of the hammock net,
Yeah. So we do have another candidate that was interviewing popped up in here. Greg, formerly Brute Scale, said these guys are cool, but there can be only one. Taking out his competition at Legion's Con. So be careful.
See you there. I'll see you there. I'll take them challenges.
Here's the thing with that. Greg's big, but I've seen a lot of battle royals, and I know that the small guys usually team up on the big guy right at the start and get him out of there, and then they fight for what's left. So, just be careful. You might be taking on everybody at once, Greg. So, and then Jacob says, currently organizing his basement, make room for customs table and many shelves for legions. That's cool.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Okay. And for show pickups, I just got 2 this week. So basically the way that I've been doing things, I get toys in, I put them in a pile, and then I wait till about it's getting close to Friday and I go, oh shit, I got nothing to show. And then I open up a couple things. So my reinforcements came in as well, but I had already opened up a couple toys. So those are probably going to hold off till next week. But what I do have to show tonight, tried to pick up this guy last year at Legion's Con, and they were sold out at the table, so I wasn't able to get it. I thought my wife would love it. Turns out I was right. And after last Sunday's shooting the shelf, I went to Big Bad Toy Store, got my first Plunderling. It is the Zombone Plunderling.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking adorable. And yeah, I was right. My wife does love him. So hopefully I can find the hatchling set for him at Legion's Con, which is I'm being told is kind of just like 2 bodies that you can put the extra heads on and stuff, and they're like little tinier ones. I tried looking them up. There didn't seem to be too many online, and the ones that were on there were outrageously expensive. So we'll see if I can find that at Legion's Con. And then this next thing, I've seen a few people with them, and I wasn't sure how good it was going to be. And so I was like, I'm just going to order one of these because there's a few different varieties. I'm going to order one and see how good the quality is, and then see if I want more. And I'll tell you, before I even show this thing, I'll tell you guys that I immediately, as soon as I opened this, went out and ordered 3 more of the different versions of it. And it is the Memory Toys Orc. This is the I think it's called the Bounty Hunter Red Orc. And this guy is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is so good. And I was getting it to, kind of go with my Fury clan. I will say the colors are pretty close. This guy is a little bit more kind of orangish red rather than like the darker Fury Clan red, but it's close enough that you can definitely put him in with your display and not have a problem. But it's just so much stuff. It's got, this big giant ass sword. It's got a sword that kind of goes on his side here. It has some little heads that you can like hang from his waist, like he's a bounty hunter, so he's just collecting skulls and stuff. And it's got all these armored pieces that you can adjust, you can take off, or you can just leave them all armored up like that. Had 3 different heads, and one of the heads had 2 different like hair pieces, like different mohawks and stuff. And like just the boots are all cool and very World of Warcraft vibe. And I'm sure that's what they're going for because I've seen some of the other ones and they're damn near close to a rip off of World of Warcraft. But really good. And then on top of it, the articulation, I was very impressed with it. It's like for a big, heavy chunk, like this thing's got some weight to it. It's got pretty decent articulation. So I immediately went out as soon as I opened up this one. I went and ordered 2 of the green ones and 1 of the tan ones, and I'm excited to get those in. I don't think I have anything else in my collection that is from Memory Toys, but they fucking hit this out of the park. Like this thing is just so good. So I'm very excited about this one.
So is that
Nice.
ogre scale? Like, is it about the same size? Or
It
is
is.
taller?
Hold on, I got a Fury orc over here. It's not quite ogre scale. It's like in between. I would say it's probably brute scale, which we haven't seen the exact size of that yet. But
Gotcha.
so here is the regular Fury orc, and then this is this guy next to it. So he's
Okay.
about an inch taller than the regular Fury clan, and he's about an inch shorter than ogre scale. So, you know, when we get that brute scale in hand, he's probably going to be the exact same size as those, but he's just very chunky for his height. He's got a lot of chunk and heft to him. So I'm very impressed. Like some of these smaller toy companies, you don't really know. What's that? Oh, I thought somebody said it. Some of these smaller toy companies, you don't really know, like.
Well, I was just saying, you gotta love them chunky boys.
Oh yeah, you don't really know what kind of quality you're gonna get until you kind of test the waters. And man, I think this thing is just phenomenal. The only thing that I would change for this, the only critique that I've got, is like on his skin, the details of the sculpt, like even of the skin, is really good, but it could have used more of like a black wash or something to get in those crevices, because it is kind of bright. So yeah, I may at some point put like a black wash on this guy, but everything else, like sculpture wise, this thing is fucking awesome. So
yeah, Memory Toys been putting out some really nice stuff overall, and
yeah,
you know, they kind of blend well with some of the other series. They're a little bit larger than, you know, your typical 6-7 inch scale, but they still they look so damn pretty on a shelf. It's hard to resist.
Yeah,
And
they're really
third-party
good.
quality has gotten way better.
Yeah, I haven't
feel
got
like
the
they're knocking
bears,
it
but
out
I
of
hear
the park.
those are pretty good too.
Oh
So,
man, yeah. Ed picked up one of the bears at PowerCon, one of the war bears, and that thing is just absolutely gorgeous. The fact that they had it in multiple different styles too. They're like, oh, you like the grizzly bear? Here you go. Here's your grizzly bear.
yeah.
You like a polar bear? We got you a polar bear. You like a damn kung fu panda? We got you.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about that was I thought the coolest one was the panda one, and like that was like a chase figure or something, so you didn't know if you were gonna get it. I was like, man, I wish they just sell the fucking the panda one. I just noticed this. J-Mac says that I have the same hairstyle as the the orc, that is correct. It's got the same back of the head ponytail. So
Rygon and I got the same hairstyle as the other orc. So
yeah, that's true.
we just got to paint ourselves all up red for Legion's Con.
That is true. Okay, so it's the time of the show. You know, basically we've had these interviews going on for OffWorld 2.0. As I said at the start of the show, my main host that I do this with are just very unreliable. Can't count on them. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. Most times they don't. And
what's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
How we all doing tonight?
We're doing all right. We're getting ready to do this interview. I don't.
Good. I made it.
Sure.
I was waiting for the link, and I never got anything. So luckily, this is where the interviews are tonight, right?
It is. I'm not sure what you're doing here, because I was supposed to be interviewing these guys, but
well, yeah, but you got the letter from my lawyer today, and we drafted up where all original hosts need to have an opportunity to interview before any new hosts can be brought on.
I did not get any such letter. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't pull this, Curtis. Come on.
We can take this off air.
I sent it certified. Let me see here.
Okay. Sorry for those viewers.
Signed at 4:55 p.m., 5 minutes before the end of the business day, by Darnell Ackerman.
I think you mean Darla.
Darnell Ackerman. Dana.
Babe, did you get a fucking letter today from Dana? A lawyer?
I got the signature right here.
I didn't even open it. I took a nap. Can I see it real quick?
Thank you.
Sorry, guys. I know we're supposed to be doing the interview right now, but let me see what the hell this is all about.
What's up, Oz? How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How you been?
Good. I'm doing great. Rygon, good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah. Nice to actually be talking to you.
100%. 100%.
Well,
This may take a while.
I mean, it looks like legally we're required to interview anybody that has expressed interest, even if they already are on the main show. So, all right. Well, I guess we got a new candidate for the position. I mean, I'll just being upfront and honest. I mean, I have a little history with this candidate, and I don't know that this is going to go well, but you know,
I really believe in my interview skills, though.
we'll keep an open mind, I guess. Okay, I'll start with Oz, and we'll just kind of work our way around. Sorry, guys, I really thought this was going to be just kind of a 2-candidate interview, but we'll get through this. Oz, Star Trek or Star Wars, and why?
Clearly Star Wars.
Okay.
There doesn't have to be a why. It's Star Wars.
Interesting. I don't have. Is my notepad over there, babe? I gotta make a note on this.
Look at this. He's unprepared. I mean, I don't know.
I kind of got.
You
thrown
just
off.
write it on the back of the legalese letter.
I would be worried about this, guys. I mean,
This-
when the interviewer is not even prepared.
That's
Look,
all right.
look.
I
My
can write
knees
on
are
the
weak.
back of this
Palms are
envelope.
sweaty. Something. Mom spaghetti.
Fucking joined in. I didn't think he was gonna be here, so that's all right. I got this. So, all right.
I'd also like to point out for the record that came from my first lightning round. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you're very integral to the show.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Really nice you to actually show up. So,
happy to be here, Curtis.
okay. Ryan, sorry, don't want to infringe on your time. If you had to listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh. I forget the name of it, but it would probably be Biggie Small's first album, The Notorious
Okay.
B.I.G.
Biggie Smalls. Okay.
Give me the
Good
name.
answer. Good answer. Good answer.
And specifically, why that one?
Oh, wait.
Oh, because I feel like I didn't have the hard life that Biggie Smalls had, but I identified with him because I was also a heavyweight child. So,
Okay. And Dooch, I don't have questions for you, so I'll just kind of wing this. Why shouldn't people want to punch you in the face?
Because I have very good lawyers, Curtis, as you've recently found out.
Yeah, I did just find that out. Lawyers. That's the only reason.
They make the world go round.
So people look at you, and the only reason they shouldn't want to punch you is because you have lawyers, is what you're saying.
Correct.
That lines up because I know I want to hit you.
That
Okay.
I am what I am.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, Oz. You go back in time and you can give your teenage self one piece of advice. What would it be?
Don't. Just don't.
Just in general.
great advice. That's great advice.
There's
Okay.
so many times that if I just sat there and rethought about that, I could have taken a different path. I could be pro NFL right now, but instead, I'm doing something I'd probably enjoy more with just a lot less. Yeah, I have a lot less money to do it than I should. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. That works.
I like it.
Rygon, what's the worst job you ever had and what made it so terrible?
I was merchandise pickup at the Sears retail, and it was definitely the people.
When you say people, the people you worked with or the customers? Or
Yes.
both? Okay.
Yes.
What you
Gotcha.
mean, the people?
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. We're not going there. That's not what that is.
Dude, as someone
The
else who's
people?
worked in retail a long time, I know exactly what you mean by the people, and it's
Okay.
all the customers.
Sir, if you could just wait till your
Yeah, we do.
question, that would
Yeah,
Oh,
be
I'm
great.
sorry. I thought it was more like a family feud. Like
No.
you know.
It's like
Oh, okay.
I'll ask Oz a question, then he gets to talk, and then I'll ask Rygon a question. He gets to talk, and then I ask you.
So it's all about control, like
well, we just don't want to cross.
no creative freedom.
We don't want to infringe on somebody else's time. Okay.
I understand now.
Can't cross the streams, dude. You can't cross the streams. But I will interject anywhere.
I love it.
I am omnipotent.
Speaking of time management, Dooch,
Yep.
if we were to allow you to appear on Offworld 2.0, why should we believe that you're going to dedicate the amount of time necessary to make 2.0 successful?
Well, really, 2.0 was already successful because it's piggybacking off a successful 1.0. So there's literally no time needed to make 2.0 successful because you've already got that built-in base. Because the 1.0 has done all the heavy lifting already.
So what I'm hearing is you're living off of past successes and you don't anticipate putting in any extra work. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, I can live with that.
Okay.
I also want to give a big shout out, Greg, formerly the Brute Scale. I hate you because you're part of 2.0, but I love you in every other aspect. Same for you, Joe.
Success, no commitment to new work. Okay.
Just coast, baby. Just coast.
Yeah, that adds up. Once again, both your answers have totally added up so far. Oz, when you were a kid, what was your dream job that you wanted to have when you grew up?
Well, I'd seen this movie. It was a documentary about it was actually 3 scientists that got kicked out of their college and went into business for themselves. And they would go around and they would release the paranormal from their earthly prisons and lock them up inside of a giant vault. And damned if I did not want that job. I wanted to go to college so I could become a professor, and then my dreams were shattered when I realized it was all bullshit. I'd still like to be a Ghostbuster if I could, though. I'm just saying.
Did you also want to use electric shock on people that would volunteer their time so that you could get like hot dates and stuff? Was that something?
Want to? That's totally how I picked up.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's just something I do in my pastime. Yeah, it's fun. Electroshock on human candidates is great and should be more widely used across the board to get what you want. Just saying.
Okay, gotcha. Rygon, you and your wife Amber are pretty well known in the Legions community. You're on the East Coast. You guys go to a lot of shows, and typically you're the line folks. Like, you guys are waiting in line, hanging out with the other Legionnaires for the doors to open. Can you tell us just a little bit about what that experience is like, just being in the line with these people, kind of, camping out, as it were?
Well, half of the people that I talk to currently, I've met standing online early. We've almost gotten frostbite together, so we've basically gone into battle to get the legions. I will say it is a fantastic time. Most people don't like getting up that early, but I'm not most people, and I'm also crazy, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a hell of a time. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Follow-up question on that, just because I don't want to talk to Dooch. What is the coolest thing that you've picked up? You wait in line, you get to the table, and there's a surprise thing that you did not expect to be there. What is the coolest thing that you've picked up that you weren't expecting to be at the table?
Recently, probably the Elf Ranger, because he's been really scarce lately.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say he's one of them.
Cool. Awesome. Dooch. Explain why Monster Squad is the best classic monster movie.
Pass.
I'm sorry. Are you saying that you're refusing to answer the question?
I answered the question with pass. We both know it's a terrible movie, Curtis. Nothing is ever going to change
Kick
that.
him in the nards.
Yes, it's got like 3 quotable lines.
Look,
Hold on,
all right,
Grow up.
you're gonna pass. I'm gonna answer.
Hold on one second, guys. Let me refer back to the lawyer statement that I got, the legal information. It says here, must allow my client an opportunity to interview and answer all questions available. I don't think pass is an answer. So are you saying that you're giving up your opportunity to interview? Is that what you're saying?
No. Okay. You're gonna get off to this one later, aren't you, control freak? Monster Squad is the best movie ever because Curtis the Inevitable, the best person in all of podcastdom, loves it.
Okay.
Is that sufficiently on my knees enough for you? That's what it takes to get ahead in this, right?
I mean, flattery is not going to get you anywhere. I know the true you, and I know you mean nothing about the words that you're actually saying. So, but we will take that as an answer.
I did answer. Okay, perfect. I'm just here so I can find you.
Oz. We've heard some things, at least I've heard some things in passing about you and maybe another hobby that you have with collecting like human bones, we'll say skulls, body parts. My question is, why shouldn't we think that you're a serial killer? And why should we not be worried that Jesse and Sean are rooming with you at Legion's Con?
Oh, because I'm like the most unusual guy in the world. And whenever you hear about serial killers, you were like, he was always so nice and so quiet and just, a normal guy. I am the complete opposite of that. Matter of fact, I even think I have an artificial hip hanging out here somewhere. Those are pretty cool when you can get those out of the crematorium. Okay. No, it's not an artificial hip. It's a grenade.
Oh, well, that's definitely less scary. So your answer, I just want to make sure I want to make sure I've jotted this down enough. Your answer is that you're so weird that we shouldn't expect you to be a serial killer because you're not normal. Is that basically what you're saying?
Exactly. I mean, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. It's
unusually weird. Okay. Got it. Okay. Ryan, my next question for you, this is also around you and Amber. I've heard you several times on Saturday Live and other places say, oh, I liked this. I wasn't really going to buy it, but then Amber told me I had to. Or she convinced me to buy it. How much of that is bullshit? And like, you really wanted to buy it on your own, but you're using her as an excuse on why you get to buy it. Like, come on, just tell us what's going on.
Straight faced, it is not bullshit.
Okay.
It's not, because there's been quite a few times where I said, hey, I'm not going to get it. And it'll be on the screen and I'm showing her and she'll grab the mouse and she'll actually click pay now. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I didn't have the money for that bullshit right now.
But secretly, you knew you were going to get it anyway, right? You just had to run it by her so that you come on. You knew that she was going to pull the trigger, right?
Well, I really want the 89 Hot Toys Batmobile, and she said for me to get it, and I've been holding off on that.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
It's a winner right there.
You know, it sounds like you got a great situation there. I'm not gonna lie. It
I'm
sounds
not
like
complaining.
Yeah,
I
no,
wasn't
I definitely
complaining.
wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. Okay. Dooch.
Yes, honey.
MFK, the other host of Offworld.
1.0.
Yep.
Oh, that's easy. I'm gonna marry Jesse. He's a sweetheart. He's gonna take care of me. Sean's good for one night if he shows up, so I'm gonna get that fucking while I can, and I'm gonna kill you over and over and over again. So, yeah.
Threatened during interview. Got it. All right, that played out exactly as I was hoping.
Me too.
Cool. Sounds good. Oz. Tomorrow, Saturday, you wake up in the morning. What's your idea of a perfect morning? Tell us about your perfect morning.
Well, first I gotta manage to figure out how to fall asleep so that I can wake up. But then it typically just revolves around a lot of hot coffee and probably a couple of cigarettes because that's typically how I spend my mornings. But, just a nice, quiet, relaxing morning.
Sounds good. Coffee. Love it.
Coffee and cigarettes. Breakfast of champions.
Yes, it is.
I think they have commercials for that. Yeah.
I'd say good answer if Curtis allowed me to speak, but he doesn't, so I don't.
You done? You finished?
Not by a long shot.
Okay. Let's see. Rygon, what's one household staple that you refuse to spend less money on? Example would be like toilet paper. So what's one thing around the house that if, you're not looking for a deal, you've got a certain standard that you're expecting?
I would actually say toilet paper.
Okay.
You don't want to cheap out on this stuff. Got to get the good stuff.
Yep.
That's basically it. You just got to get the good stuff because you don't want to be scratching all day. As gross as that sounds.
So follow-up question to that then. What is your brand of choice?
And why is it Charmin?
Yeah, I was going to say Charmin.
Ultra soft or ultra strong?
I would say
both. You don't have to choose. That's like a trick question.
Yeah, I'm an ultra strong guy myself. I mean, I like being in touch with my inner self, but not that way, if you know what I mean. So yeah, the ultra strong is a good way to go. Secondary follow-up question, because once again, I don't want to talk to Dooch. You just a straight dry wiper, or are there wet wipes involved in this as well? Like what
There's wet wipes.
Yeah.
There's wet wipes involved. I prefer the ones with cocoa butter.
Interesting. I have not seen those.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I'm typically dry, wet. As long as everything's good, one more dry to finish it, and then head out. So okay, cool.
We got to follow up with a dry after a wet because you gotta leave it dry down there. You can't be walking away with a moist ass.
Yeah, and Greg brings up a point. If you don't have a bidet, you ain't toileting right. I've heard great things. I just don't know. Like the bad part from what I hear is like you have to run it to your water line that's going to your toilet. Well, the water line that's going to your toilet doesn't have different temperature water. Like you don't run hot water to your toilet, which means when you're spraying that stuff up there, it is like the freezing cold fucking water. And I just don't know that sounds very refreshing. So,
I mean, you could always get a toilet like this. Action.
That's nice.
Like you clean.
Yeah.
There you go. That looks like it's fun, actually.
Fearsome flush.
Yeah. Dooch. What did you do to Halcyon?
You want the God's honest truth?
Yeah, why does Anthony Halcyon hate your guts?
God's honest truth?
Mm-hmm.
I have no fucking clue.
And follow-up question.
He showed up in the chat one night, and
Mhm.
he's hated me ever since. So, yeah.
And follow-up question. How much do you think about how much Anthony Halcyon hates you? How often?
How often?
Mm-hmm.
Usually just when he pops up in the chat. If he's not here, I don't think about it.
Would you say that you more often during the week think about how much Anthony hates you or the Roman Empire?
Roman Empire.
Really? Interesting. I would be obsessed with why somebody as cool and awesome as Anthony hates my guts for no reason.
Sounds
Gotcha.
more like on him, but
Have you ever thought that maybe it's your face?
it's a definite possibility, yes.
Okay. All right. We are on our last round of questions here, guys. So we'll just knock these last ones out. You guys have been doing well. Two of you have been doing great. So
sorry, Oz.
yeah, let's go ahead and knock this out. Oz. Pizza. What kind of crust? What kind of toppings? Go.
I'm a man of deep dish standards, and I love tons of toppings, veggies, meats, and the one that'll probably get me thrown out. I fucking put pineapple on that shit too.
Okay.
Man, man, you just
Damn it.
You were doing so well too. It's wow. Okay.
I just love that Oz is honest with these answers, unlike some people in previous weeks who were definitely pandering to certain interviewers. So I applaud you all.
Once again, not your turn. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was talking to Oz there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, let's not. Rygon. Better cook in your house, you or your wife, and what is the best dish that either of you makes?
Me for sure. And I would probably say when I do the tenderloin, I do a tenderloin, like to season it up with
Beef
a little
or
bit
pork?
of adobo. Ooh, beef.
Okay.
I go beef.
I like that answer.
It's all about the seasoning. And then we have a little side of veggies. It's I'm also saying me because she doesn't cook. So
Okay.
there's that.
Interesting. Okay. Dude, once again, I was not prepared for you tonight. I don't really have questions, so I'm just going to throw you a softball one here at the end.
All right.
The reason we're doing these interviews is because, like the song says, we're every Friday night. So if you ended up getting this position, are you available every Friday night? That's the easiest one I can throw you. What's that?
Each and every Friday night?
Yeah, that's what the song says.
Oh, fuck. No, I can't be here every Friday night. I can do every other week, but that's about the best I can do.
That's what you're already doing. So
Oh.
why did you?
No, well, then I guess I'm out. Oh, never mind then, guys. You guys can have 2.0 then.
I just don't. I don't even know what to. All right. Oz, Ryan, thank you for interviewing. We appreciate it. Hedgehog with the correct answer here: sausage, mushroom, and pepperoni. I mean that is the only answer.
It's got to be that Chicago deep dish, though.
That is not the right answer. Sorry. All right. Well,
thank you, Hedgehog. You were very wise.
Everybody but Dooch. All right. Well, we're gonna go into a time of the show that we say, this week in theaters. So let me pull up our screen here with our random number generator. And we have got the years plugged in 1981, because apparently that's the first year that it started tracking on the website that we use, up to 2010. I'm going to hit this generate button, and it's going to give me a year. And then we'll look at this week in theaters and see what movie we would like to go see. We are in 1986, and I think we might have had this one. So hopefully this isn't, hopefully we don't have the same ones that we had before. So let me stop sharing that and share the movie one. All right, we are looking at weekly. We're going to go to 1986. Now, for anybody just watching for the first time, or Ryan and Oz, just so you're aware, this is if you were to go back in time today to 1986 in this week, you're not a kid. You're the same age as you are now, but you can see one of these top 10 movies, and you have to pick one. So let's see what we've got here. And we're only looking at the top 10. So first we've got Crocodile Dundee, the original. So there you go. We've got Color of Money. So yeah, Fast Eddie Felson, Pool Hustling. Jumpin' Jack Flash, Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, God. Peggy Sue Got Married. We've got Tough Guys, which who is in this? Does it say? I can't see there.
Let's see if I can pull it up for you.
Yeah, pull that up and see. Do something. That'd be great. Children of a Lesser God. No idea. Says a new speech teacher to school for deaf falls in love with a janitor. A deaf woman. A deaf woman speechless by choice. All right. Sounds artsy fartsy.
Tough Guy is an action comedy starring Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, Eli Wallach, and Dana Carvey.
Interesting. Okay. What does this say on this? It says two elderly gangsters are released from prison, only find that they have trouble fitting in as old men who take no gruff from anybody. Interesting concept. Don't know that one.
Sounds like grumpy old men in prison.
Yeah. So we've got Top Gun, which everybody knows that one. Deadly Friend. After his friend is killed by her abusive father, new kid in town attempts to save her by implanting a robotic microchip into her brain. Well, that one sounds fucking weird. Stand By Me, classic. And last in the top 10, That's Life. Wealthy yet depressed architect and his sympathetic wife strive to conquer their life issues in anticipation of Harvey Fairchild's 60th birthday party. So we will start. Oh, I went too far back. We're going to start with me, and then we'll work our way down since you guys haven't really done this before. I am going to, let's see. Top Gun is very appealing because of all the action and everything flying and stuff, but I think I'm going to see Color of Money. So I love that movie. I like Hustler, the original black and white. But yeah, I think I'm seeing Color of Money. Dooch, since you have invaded the show, what are you seeing?
Absolutely. Crocodile Dundee is obviously a really big pull, and it is the first one, so it is excellent. But you know what? For today, I think I'm gonna go see Tough Guys. That premise sounds intriguing, and why not check out something back in the day for the first time? So, yeah, I'm gonna go see Tough Guys.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. In fact, I'm going to write that down on my list to actually watch.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing when we were looking.
Sounds like an interesting concept for a movie. So
I need to see that.
Yeah. Rygon, what are you seeing?
I'm going Top Gun. Not only for the action scenes, but for the ridiculous scenes too. You know, the bird.
Oh yeah. Yeah, plus the shirtless volleyball. I mean, although I
Yeah.
can't watch the shirtless volleyball scene now without thinking of Jesse,
Yep.
since he told us that he used to play, beach volleyball kind of. So now I just, whenever they're shirtless, I just in my mind put Jesse's head on like Val Kilmer's body. So
You just now started doing that?
just when he told us about playing volleyball. So Oz, what are you seeing?
Crocodile Dundee,
Okay.
definitive, one of the best movies ever made.
Oof, it's all right. I don't know if I'd say that's one of the best movies ever made. What, can you defend that statement a little bit?
Oh no, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. You got this badass guy who goes walking around, first off, my continent, okay, Oz, with like a 22 rifle and a knife,
Mm-hmm.
where everything is set to kill you. And then you drop him in New York City. He has no idea about city life of any kind. And you put him in the Big Apple. Guy mugs him. He mugs him back, you know? He just straight whips out his knife and he goes, you know what? Let's go do this thing.
Okay.
And he kills a crocodile in the movie, which, although saddens me because I absolutely love reptiles to death. Crocodiles are one of my most favorite animals on the planet.
Yeah, I don't know if they
But-
could get away with that today in a film.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot that they just can't get away with in modern movies that we used to see in 80s movies. Again, even Monster Squad. You don't have kids sitting around drinking beer, smoking cigarettes anymore.
Yeah,
Even
that's
though we
bad.
all know that's how we spent the 80s, hunting monsters and drinking beer and smoking cigarettes
Mhm.
at the mall. And yeah, like Crocodile Dundee, it's a bona fide classic. And it's phenomenal. And it's set up a great sequel too, where they took him back to the outback, which, that was great too. I mean, I'll still say it's not quite as good as the first one there, but
Just want to pull up a couple comments from the chat real quick. Back before this, while we were finishing up the interview, Kevin says barbecue pulled pork pizza. That sounds fucking disgusting. So I'm going to give that a big no. Joe says this week in theaters, we need a transition for this segment. Well, I can't even get my co-host to show up on a weekly basis. So if you can figure out a way on how I can get them to work on things like transition things, I would love to hear it, Joe, because like Sean, just no shows tonight. Don't hear anything from him. He might be dead. I don't know. We haven't got that update.
We got to do Legends next week, so we better not be.
Okay. Yeah. Po2 2.0. Thanos Copter says Stand By Me. Good choice. Classic. And then Kevin comes back and says he's talking about the Deadly Friend. Has a brutal basketball scene. Says that if you're into horror, it's worth a watch. But he also said barbecue pulled pork on pizza. So I don't know. It could be a good choice. Maybe not. Hedgehog says Victoria says Peggy Sue. Thanos, sorry, nobody picked Stand By Me. That's, if I'm going back to watch a movie, I want something that's a little bit more lively. So, and then Joe says he's here for us. So maybe I can get Joe to work on a transition since my normal host suck. So
It's your best bet.
And then just the next thing that we do on here, we just kind of slide this over a little bit and see how many weeks these things were at. And surprisingly, this Children of a Lesser God, which nobody picked and sounded really fucking terrible. Oh no, not that one. Sorry, it was Top Gun, 23 weeks. So yeah, that holds up. So still at number 7, 23 weeks in theater, which is pretty good.
Honorable,
Color of Money was that was the first week, and they couldn't beat out Crocodile Dundee, so that's interesting.
honorable mention, Karate
There's
Kid Part
proof.
2 is just out of the top 10 at 18 weeks. That's surprising.
Yep.
These poor guys down here, first week, not even in the top 15.
Sid and Nancy.
Yeah, that's terrible. So, all right. Well, that was.
I don't think Sid and
this
Nancy
week in
got
theaters.
its call until much later.
I don't even know what Sid and Nancy is.
Sid Vicious.
Oh
Sex
yeah.
Pistols. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kind of his descent into bullshit.
Which is basically like the same as every rock star. It's drugs and sex. So
Essentially, yeah. And bad influences.
yeah, gotcha. For some reason, like alcohol and drugs make you make bad choices. I don't know what the correlation is, but next we are gonna just pull up some Big Bad Toy Store and take a look at some stuff. So I see on the main part of the screen here we got NECA Turtles back again. They're really hitting these movie figures hard.
Well, it's also the quarter scale one too. So
yeah, these are the quarter scale figures, and so 129 a piece. So quarter scale is, what is that, like 1.5 feet or something?
Yeah,
15 inches or something like that.
You're talking like almost 24-inch size figures.
16 and a half inches is what it says here. So, I mean, very cool. They look very much like the movie characters. I don't have space for a 16-inch figure alone, much less a whole set of them. And then they've got the baby 1/4 turtle. So how tall are these? These are 4 inches tall. So, and you get the whole set of them for $52. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's actually the basis for the new TMNT Motu crossover, 4-inch NECA Turtles. Yep.
Yeah, Motu crossovers typically suck. So
I don't know. This new one kind of, after that box art reveals, the box art's pulling me in more than the actual toys are, which is pretty sad.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished reading Last Ronin. This is kind of interesting me a little bit. This is kind of cool. I don't think it comes with the couch though.
No, couch sold separately.
Yeah, that's a Trevor thing. Like, you don't put it in the picture unless it's going to be included. So all the weapons, that is pretty cool looking. I might have to pull the trigger on that one.
I'm not sold. There's no couch.
Yeah, no couch. Forget it. Next, we got some Diamond Select toys: Lord of the Rings, Muppets, Marvel, Star Wars. I did notice earlier on this, the Diamond Select, it had the, like right in here, it had the new Archangel, and now it's not on there. It's like the same picture, but without the Archangel. So I wonder if something happened with that. Let me
sold out, maybe.
Yeah,
or maybe they had reason. Did I already pass the?
Yeah, Marvel was up higher.
The Diamond Select
Marvel figures.
Yeah, I saw that, but I didn't think that was the, like this one. I guess maybe it's mixed in
Figures, statues, busts, and more.
there. Yeah, there it is.
There he is.
That's
a good-looking figure, man.
It is a really solid figure. The only problem with these Diamond Select ones is, like, they're taller than every other Marvel line. Like the Marvel Legends are 6 inches, the Mafex are 6 inches, the Mezco are typically like 6 inches. So, it's going to stand a lot taller. And I think this is only just over 7 inches.
Yeah.
But it's going to look a little bit out of place. But I think, like, the wings look awesome. It's got alternate heads.
Yes.
They've even got his face of death from being Apocalypse's Horseman of Death too.
Yeah.
At least I was pretty sure I saw that.
I thought it had 3 heads.
Right. It's got
But-
the covered, uncovered, and then it should be the covered with the gold face for the death.
Yeah, I don't see that listed on here anyway. But yeah, I saw something else. I think it was on the Foosh Weekly that showed the 3 different heads. So they might need to update that. But
Yeah. See, for
Hedgehog
me, like,
brings up a good point.
what's that?
Hedgehog brings up a good point.
Oh, here we go. Feel like the wings would be cooler if they were shinier. Yeah. I could
I
see
could
that.
definitely see that too. Yeah.
Vac metal, perhaps.
Yeah, back metal would
Yeah,
be nice
yeah,
on that.
back metal would be good.
Maybe
But
Well,
in
see that.
Maybe in a
it
couple.
can't be done. Back metal is impossible. It's not able to be done anymore. Things that we did in the 80s are no longer possible in the 2000s. The technology just isn't there. We had it at one time, and then we just fell backwards as a society and lost the ability to vac metal things. So buy
Dark
this
Ages
one,
again.
and then a year from now, then we'll remember how to do back metal. So
just question, as I don't currently collect any of the Marvel lines. Diamond Select versus Marvel Legends. How comparative are those in terms of quality? Which would you guys rather have?
Diamond Select.
I would say the quality is about the same. They're just bigger.
Okay.
And I do have some Diamond Select in my collection, but it's usually like one of the Diamond Selects I have that will mix well with, well, 2 of them really that mix well with the Marvel Legends is like Colossus and Juggernaut, because those figures are bigger anyway.
Makes sense.
So you can kind of fit them into the collection. It doesn't look bad. Like the aesthetic is very similar. The articulation is very similar. It's just bigger. But if you took like a Diamond Select, I don't know, Wolverine and put it in there with the rest of the X-Men, he's going to look fucking massive. So
Gotcha.
Well, it depends on that scale you're looking for too, because like the Diamond Select Venom that came out a couple years ago fits better with Marvel Legends because he's more appropriately scaled to Marvel Legends Spider-Man than the Marvel Legends Venom figures that they put out. So like they work well interchangeably with one another. And I feel like the joints are a little better on the Diamond Select, and that's a win for me because I hate it when you get loose joints, especially with like a Spider-Man figure where you're going to want to get some dynamic pose. And like every time you try to set his leg, it gets a little limp.
Been there.
I'm trying to look up this Iceman that Hedgehog was talking about in chat.
Oh, yeah, the Diamond Select like vintage Iceman figure. Freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, that does look pretty cool. I don't know why they show this, but they don't actually show him on it or using it. Yeah, Big Bad Toys.
Because they don't have Trevor doing their photos.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. Like some people that do these, the photos for these toys are terrible. And it's just a shame because we all know there's so much better. And it's like, really? You guys are hiring probably some really, really expensive pedigreed photographer to shoot your toys, graduated with marketing degrees and everything. And like I go on IG and I see 1,000 times better toy photography out there that would sell me a toy.
Well, I think a lot of times, like I've seen a lot more photos from the line, but then for whatever reason, Big Bad Toy Store doesn't have all those photos available. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't use all those photos, but Hedgehog here says scale between 6 and 7 inch can be overblown. As I say, Greg and I live in the same actual world. That is true. And that's, like I said, you can mix some of the Diamond Select with the Marvel Legends depending on the character, but some characters it makes it very difficult. Like Wolverine is supposed to be a shorter character anyway.
Yep.
But now if all of a sudden you've got a 7-inch Wolverine with a 6-inch, Cyclops, it just looks really fucking weird. So
It is.
you can mix them
Spider-Man,
in, but
he's
you got to
gotta be
pick and choose and be smart about it. So
Right.
I think that Archangel could definitely work with that bigger wingspan and everything like that.
He definitely could, especially if you think about like he got severely altered by Apocalypse when he became Archangel. So like if you put like a regular Marvel Legends Angel figure next to that Archangel, that would probably look good. But to be fair, then you would have to have an Apocalypse that would scale with that Archangel as well.
Yeah, I want that like an Angel figure, but like the only one that they did that I've seen is like an old like Toy Biz one, and then they did like one similar to that in earlier on in Marvel Legends. Like I wish they would do a new one because I like the Angel version rather than the Archangel version. But
for me,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm only collecting the Age of Apocalypse Marvel Legends figures, really.
Yeah.
And I want them to do the Angel from that line. They've done 2 full waves of Age of Apocalypse figures, and there's still so many more great characters from that event, from that story arc, that I'm a little sad that you see, especially for the wave that I picked up the whole wave at Ollie's for less than $100 and got to build a figure Colossus out of it and Apocalypse from Age of Apocalypse, all for under $100. And yeah, it's kind of sad because when you see clearance stuff like that, the brand's just like, well, that flopped. And they did a lot of like the fan favorite characters, like they're missing a couple out, probably like Gambit with his externals, like they haven't gotten around to doing those yet, or even Nightcrawler, which that would be really, really good. Hedgehog's even saying Age of Apocalypse Iceman is a very cool figure. I got him just back here somewhere.
That's one that almost got me. I haven't bought a Marvel figure in forever, but I saw that Iceman in store and I almost pulled the trigger on it.
Hey, if you're going to an Ollie's or if you have an Ollie's near you, pop in. You can get them for like, I think it was $10.
That I would definitely jump on. No, it was full price, it was at a Meijer. So that's the only thing that made me be like, no.
I hate when all of the East Coast guys and stuff talk about Ollie's and stuff.
You don't have Ollie's?
No, there's not a thing. I don't think there's one within 2 states of me. And so every time that you guys are talking about like great deals there, I'm like, yeah.
So,
if it makes you feel better, my Ollie's never has anything worthwhile. Like G.I. Joe was the big thing. It was in their fucking ad.
Classified.
Yeah, and I go in there just to check it out, and it's all freaking Snake Eyes movie, Snake Eyes and Baroness. Like 72 cases of it.
Go check Dee Dee's, and I know.
Yeah, same
I know
thing.
Dee Dee's is over there.
Has anything for me in my area?
I don't have that either. I don't know what that is.
I don't.
Okay,
I don't
it's
know
another
what it is
discount
either.
store. Like
It's more like a Ross kind of.
Yeah, it falls in line with
some
Ross, TJ Marshall.
Yeah.
Like they've all started becoming like these little hot spots for
if you're in the right area.
Yeah, I got a Ross. I can check that, but that's about it. So
yeah, because everyone's posting about the Masterverse, Manny Faces, Sorceress, and
for like $5.
$5 at Ross. I go in there. I went today after work. I got done early, and
I don't find those
not
there
jack shit, nothing.
Well, it actually took me a while. Dawn managed to get me all of the Kenner Classics Ghostbusters because when I went into my Ollie's, well, I got stuck with little shit ghost here, Fearsome Flush, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's cool. He's a toilet. And I got the eye guy here. But they didn't have Stay Puft. They didn't have the whole team of the Ghostbusters. They didn't have any of it. And I was like, man, this sucks. And she hunted every Ollie's in her area in Virginia. Managed to not only get me all the rest of the Kenner Classics, but also managed to get the Plasma Series slimed on Ghostbusters
Mhm.
that are glow in the dark.
Mhm.
Man. But yeah, I couldn't find any of that stuff up here really. Well, I kept finding like 3 out of the 4 Ghostbusters, but it was always the one Ghostbuster. It'd been
Mhm.
different if like I showed up at one store and they had 3 of them, then I showed up at another store and they had like 3 plus the other one that I was looking for.
That'd be
But no,
too
it was
easy.
always the same one that was missing.
Always Winston for some reason. They never have Winston.
You know, and that's the funny part. Yeah, like up here I was missing Winston. She found Winston down there and I was like, "Oh, that's cool cuz I'll go grab the rest of them cuz we had those up here."
Yeah.
And she couldn't find Egon for the longest time. So I went to go get Egon and he was gone and now Winston was there. And I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me. This is bullshit."
Mhm. Yeah, it's horrible distribution at these discount stores.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a little bit of a change of subject, kind of here. We'll get back to toys in a little bit, but had kind of a saw an interesting interaction this week, and then had some thoughts on it. I'm gonna throw something out here, maybe a little controversial, but I don't mind being controversial. So, saw a post. Somebody was talking about Mythic Legion's Poxus Wave, and they saw a note from Big Bad Toy Store basically said that it was running late, that the shipment wasn't going to be on the water until later this year, and all this and that. And somebody made a post about that with the letter from Big Bad Toy Store. And on that post, Jeremy Gerard, director of sales and marketing for Mythic Legions, jumped on and said it was encouraging people like not to cancel their pre-orders through Big Bad Toy Store, because when you do that, it hurts the retailer, because now they're sitting on that extra product and all this and that. And Big Bad Toy Store is clearly their largest retailer. So kind of got me thinking about just the state of Mythic Legions in general. So I'm going to throw out kind of a theory that I have, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it and see. So, I've seen this thing kind of develop over the last few years, and it's changed quite a bit. I mean, when I first got into the line, there were a handful of figures on Big Bad Toy Store, Mythic Legion wise, and that was it. And everything else that had kind of sold out at Big Bad Toy Store was going for ridiculous prices on eBay, right? And eventually those figures would sell out, and then you would have this lull where there was like no figures available on Big Bad Toy Store. And then we started to see the Horsemen kind of order more of these figures, do less of the ISS sales, and instead hit all these shows. They're like doing street teams in areas that they normally wouldn't go to. They're going to shows that they hadn't gone to in the past. And so now these things are more readily available. Like I can go on Big Bad Toy Store right now and find stuff from Alithia Wave, stuff from, Cosmic One, whatever. Like normally in the past, like this far after Cosmic One came out, I wouldn't find anything on Big Bad Toy Store. But now this stuff is just everywhere. So I think that they're producing more product than what they had in the past. They're making those Legions prices, the show prices, available to more people than just the people on the East Coast. And so when it comes to, if I'm going to buy one from Big Bad Toy Store or one from a show, I'm going to save money for buying it at a show. So maybe I more take my chance. And worst case scenario, it's still going to be on Big Bad Toy Store anyways, because they're not selling out. So I feel like that's a reason why they're having so many cancellations. And I know it's a problem for them, not just Mythic Legions, but in general. I mean, we've talked about it on this show a few times, but Big Bad Toy Store has been running sales like all fucking summer long. Like they have week sales and daily sales and summer sales, and because they are so tight on warehouse space that they're running into issues. The other problem is that they don't have a deposit, a non-refundable deposit on any of their stuff.
Yeah.
So I can order whatever the hell I want, and I can wait till the letter comes in saying that they're getting ready to charge my account and then cancel it, and there's no negative repercussions for me. So I think it's a combination of they're not protecting themselves by doing a non-refundable deposit. And then also Four Horsemen, because they're selling so many of these at show prices, I think it's hurting the retailers. But that's my theory. Wanted to throw it out there and kind of see what your guys' take is on that. So I'll start with Ryan, because Ryan, you go a lot of shows, you're in line, you get those table prices. I mean, I'm sure you probably don't order from retailers. You probably order either, through the pre-order process or hit them up at tables at conventions. But what are your thoughts on what I just had to say?
So I really only use them for like if I'm missing a figure and they happen to have it, but I don't. I think I agree with the part about they don't really charge deposits on that stuff. So I stopped using BBTS and I started using Mallfish. Are you familiar with them?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't charge you a deposit, but it's not as easy to cancel with them as it is BBTS. Whereas you just log in, you hit however many you want to cancel. So I use them instead because they offer free shipping. But I I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
really have an
when was the
opinion.
last time you ordered a Legions figure from Big Bad Toy Store?
Oh Jesus Christ. It's been a long time. Probably since Soul Spiller when that
Yeah.
released.
And I just want to pull up this comment here. Kevin says it's the whole shipment, same boat. Actually, Jeremy confirmed it's two separate boats, and the one with the Big Bad Toy Store stuff is slightly behind the other one. But it's nor here nor there. I mean, they're going to arrive like within a week or two of each other, from what Jeremy said. But the I guess my theory is that if you think there's a chance that it could be at Legion's Con, like why pay the extra money, when you can get it for the cheaper price? And part of the other thing is too, some of their minimum order prices, their MOPs on these things are not really great. Like right now, I can go to Big Bad Toy Store and they got the Dark Templar, right? $45. That was a $25 figure from Four Horsemen. So I'm paying almost double at Big Bad Toy Store what I paid at from the Horseman. I can get it at $30 at a show. Why would I pay $45 from Big Bad Toy Store? So the Legion Builder figures, I know, Dorklayer talked about like the Sentry, the Engineer, and the Science Officer from Cosmic. Like you're paying $20 more per figure for those at the retailer. And it used to be Four Horsemen. They made their production wave, and they would sell all the to the pre-order people, and then they would have some extra, and they would keep some for shows, but it was mostly like Legion's Con and stuff like that. And then they would have an ISS sale, and in that ISS sale, they would sell all their extra shit that they didn't want to keep for shows. And what you had is the same people that were placing pre-orders would then double up on the ISS sale and order more of that stuff, right? But you weren't pulling in like new customers. It was like the same, because like you had to know when the sale was. You had to be on there right at the right time in order to get the shit. But now they're hitting places like fucking Arizona and California, and they were up in Michigan for MesquiCon. Like they're hitting areas with show prices that have never had these things at show prices. So instead of doing the ISS sales, now they're giving people more access to the cheaper prices, which I think is going to in turn hurt the retailers, especially the ones that aren't charging a non-refundable deposit. So, Oz, any take on this?
Well, being the fairly new guy with Legions and ordering from Four Horsemen, only having really gotten into this just around this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's one of these things where I just really learned about ordering from the Four Horsemen direct and getting in on their pre-orders.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I buy what I can up front. It's paid for. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Then once it becomes available at retailer, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go maybe pre-order some stuff that I didn't pick up while it was on, you know, like I get the needs from Four
Mm-hmm.
Horsemen at the cheapest price, then I get some of the wants later at a retailer because especially like looking at Big Bad Toy Store, who was getting most of my business. Now I've strayed away from Big Bad Toy Store quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
mostly just due to the fact of, and it's not entirely BBTS's fault when these guys start shipping in stuff and they're like, oh, that's for fourth quarter. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like tail into second quarter going into third quarter. And it's like, oh, this hit your pile of loot. Sorry you didn't have money.
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
uh,
it sucks.
that's a huge pain in the ass for me. Like I even got upset with the Headless Horseman and the new Father Christmas. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, these are coming early. And I'm like, no, 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 that's Oz in 2024's problem, not Oz 2023's problem, but now you made it Oz 2023's problem, and that's not okay. Um, but I mean, that's just the thing of it. Like, that's my biggest issue with it. I'm gonna try to spread that love around to as many people as I can. I mean, I'm a big fan of the guys at Hello Dope Toys. They are now a authorized retailer for Four Horsemen. And so, like, when I can, I'm definitely going to try to order from them, even if it's a couple bucks more. I'm supporting friends of mine in their business, in their endeavor. And I think that's where, growing up, we all had like the local comic book shop that you went to, or at least
Mm-hmm.
I know most of us did. You kind of got to know the people there because they saw you every month when you were picking up your new issues or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how it feels at like some of these smaller retailers. Like they're that corner shop that is getting in what you want. We make a choice to spread the love there. Are we going to take advantage of a cheaper price if we can? Yes, but I mean, Joe brings up a good point too. For him, he lives in the middle of nowhere, Nevada. And even though, yes, they are showing up over there now for you guys more on the West Coast, current gas prices don't mean you're saving dick by driving to a show.
Yeah, but I
yeah.
mean, if you know somebody that, and Hedgehog says that there's still not that many shows, but if you know somebody that's going to that and they can pick you up, 10 figures that you're saving $15-20 on per figure, and then they ship it to you, you're still saving money. So, even though there's not that many shows, it's kind of like what Hedgehog's saying. There's been pretty much a show or a street team almost every month this year, and if you figure, I'm just going to throw out a number. Let's say that they're selling 500 figures at a show. I think it's probably closer to 1,000, but even if it's 500 figures at a show, right? And you do that every month, at the end of the year, that's $6,000 worth of figures that are not going through retailers because people got them at a cheaper price. So, it's one of those things where the cheaper prices are more readily available, and the fact that they don't have, the whole BBTS model has been one. I mean, when I was just collecting like masters and stuff, like people would be like, oh, why would I order from Super 7 and pay now when I can order through Big Bad Toy Store and it's the exact same price and I don't have to pay till a year from now or 2 years from now. And then what happens is that they get those notifications, like you said, Oz, and it's like, oh, your shit's ready. It's getting ready to be charged. And it comes at an inopportune time, and you go, oh, so shit, I don't have that money right now. And so then people cancel their orders. I much prefer paying for shit up front. And then when it shows up, it's like it's free, because
That's how you feel. You spent that money months ago. You're good.
right. Yeah. Old Curtis paid for that. So now new Curtis gets the free toy from, it's like a present from old Curtis. So yeah, I don't know. Dooch, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I mean, I agree with you mostly. One thing you got to take into consideration, though, and I know you're the big baller, you go all in all the time. But when you're saying that the figure's 25 and it's 45 from BBTS, you got to factor in single figure shipping, which is on the higher end directly from the Horseman. So I mean, that $25 figure is easily a $35 to $40 figure with the shipping.
Yeah.
Depending on where you live. So, I mean, that factors into it as well. I will buy my all-ins from the Horseman directly. That's about the only thing I buy from them directly. just for that shipping cost. So
Mhm.
I think that's part of it. When you really break down the individual figure pricing,
Mhm.
there's really not a huge savings between the website and any other retailer. And I think that's
Yeah.
intentional. Obviously the all-in's a huge savings. I got my
Unless you're getting it from a show and not paying shipping.
I was
you know,
getting there,
if-
but yeah. So
Right.
I got my all-in Legion builders. I did end up going in, even though I said I wasn't gonna. But it's
Dooch balls in.
you got to. But yeah, so to your point, the shows then. Now, luckily, I'm living in an area where shows are kind of creeping more my way, where stuff is readily available. That's the best way to get them, and I definitely think that has an impact on the secondary online retailers.
There's also the added cost of a show, though.
True.
Yeah.
Luckily, like Curtis, like MesquiteCon, that's my backyard. So I mean,
Right.
we're talking a couple hour drive, you know. So a little bit of gas, $10 admission. I mean, that's, you know, and I get to hang out with cool dudes at the same time. So
Yeah, and I'm not arguing that people are saving massive amounts of money by getting them at the show for the cheaper prices. That's not my argument.
right.
My argument is that by people are going to those shows and people are buying those figures from the Horsemen, and every figure that's bought from the Horsemen directly is a figure that's not being bought from retailer. So that in turn is making the retailers hold on to more and more product,
Right.
and it's just sitting out there. And it also, like, if you look at the market for Mythic Legions, like the prices are significantly going down. I mean, I see people posting in the Cabal like Alithia figures for less than what they would sell for at Big Bad Toy Store, less than the minimum order price, because
Right,
they're just trying to move these things.
Right, and they bought them at an all-in, which had
Yeah.
the cheapest price, and that was where my second point there was. I think what's really hurting the retailers right now is the fact. I mean, for a while, I would say up until Alithia Wave, like Curtis said, it was kind of the secret society thing. You had to be in the know for the in-stock sales and everything. You either got the pre-order or you had to like really be on the ball for the in-stock sales. So the second an in-stock sale was over, you could take any figure from any wave and sell it for double. Period. End of discussion. It did not matter who, what, when, where. As soon as that in-stock sale was over, everything was double.
Yep.
So what that led to is people taking advantage of the big bad toy stores. Were like, well, I'm just going to pre-order 10 of these. I can flip 5. That gives me my other 5 for free, and I've got my legions.
Well, a lot of people would say that. They would say get 2 all-ins,
and
sell
one
your
pays for the
sell
other.
your first one, and your first one pays for the other one, because like you said, you can basically double the prices.
I did that with Battle Cat from the Classics line. I bought 2 day of. He sold out. I sold the second one for more than I paid for both of them combined. But yeah, it's just so I think that's what's hurting the retailers right now is the fact that now these things are available regularly at shows online. You have all these approved retailers now, which is a great thing. But now there's so much more product being made that aftermarket isn't there. And so that's why they're sitting on it, because people aren't just scarfing up everything. I still haven't gotten I always get the names mixed up, but my Yellow Demon from the last All-Star.
Azar, yeah.
Azar. Like, I want him. I voted for him. I was glad he won, but I still haven't picked him up because he's sitting out there for retail, you know. Yeah. $45, $50. I can pick him up.
Well, and that's what you used to see
like,
at Big Bad Toy Store. Somebody would post the thing and they would say, like, only 20 left of this figure. And then like within 10 minutes, it was sold out.
Gone.
Because it's that, you know, fear of missing out, like it's going away.
Yep.
Well, there's none of that now. Like, you know, these things are readily available. Like the last wave that is actually still selling for good amount of money on eBay and not readily available is probably Arethyr. Arethyr, like you know, especially if you're looking for like a Magnus, a Vorthog, something like that, you know, some of those figures are still a little pricey.
Yep.
But from Alithia on, like this stuff is just like it's almost everywhere. Like you can find it somewhere for cheap. And so the aftermarket, like you said, is totally shot
Mhm.
because of the amount of figures that are produced. And there's just, I don't know. I don't know how retailers fix it. And to Oz's point, like, you know, as far as just actually buying from BBTS as a whole, instead of, you know, forget about Mythic Legions, but just talk about BBTS. Like typically I will go on there and I'll shop at BBTS to see like what things are out or what things
Yep.
pique my interest I want to buy. And then I'll check out Amazon and see if they've got it. And if they do, I got Amazon Prime, so I'm getting free shipping on it. And sometimes they have cheaper prices. And so a lot of times I'm using Big Bad Toy Store because it's more shoppable experience. It has better pictures and all this and that. So I use it to find what I want to buy, and then I'll go somewhere else and find it at a better price.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's kind of one of those things like how Toys R Us got pushed out of the market because it was easier to just get it at Walmart while you're getting your groceries or clothes or whatever. And now it's like Amazon is kind of becoming that for online retailers where, you know, it's a lot easier to shit. I got stuff coming to my house almost every day from Amazon. I got one an Amazon thing that they built like 15 minutes from me. I'll place an order and within 2 hours it'll be here at my door.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we
So-
got one real close too.
Yeah.
I've been spoiled like that here in Baltimore. You know,
Yeah.
same day delivery is nice. It can certainly hurt you though at a certain point because then you just start ordering all kinds of shit you didn't really need. But you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I can get that in 2 hours. Let me get that shit.
Yeah. And then you go,
but-
oh shit, I haven't been out of the house in 3 weeks.
We
That's
just
happened to
moved,
me. That has happened.
we just moved here last October, so a year ago now,
Mhm.
and we've got an
Yeah.
Amazon distribution center right there.
Mhm.
And we're close enough to the Sam's Club and the Meijer now that they both offer the door delivery.
Mhm.
And so it's like, yeah, like I don't go to stores. I just have everything delivered to my doorstep.
So Patron few says I absolutely do that. BBTS is the catalog, Amazon is the store. That's a perfect example because like I know as kids, you know, we all had like the Sears catalog that you went through and picked out the stuff
Yep.
you wanted for Christmas and stuff. But I don't know about you guys. My parents never bought that shit from Sears.
No, it's always
You know,
No.
Most of the time
No,
they
it's not.
went to Kmart or
Right.
a Toys R Us.
yeah,
Now, I
you
will
used
say-
Sears to, you know, as the catalog and you circled the things that you want, and then they went
Yep.
to a cheaper store and got the real shit. So
And truthfully, that is definitely what hurt Toys R Us in the end was, you know, it was a great big box shopping experience going into a Toys R Us, but their prices were higher because Walmart was able to order more at a cheaper mass quantity rate and they were able to charge less for them. And then they charge you double on other shit that you're walking through there for, and you're just like, oh, it's here. I might as well pick it up.
well, it's
So-
also just more convenient because
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
how
that's
many
the idea.
parents want to go to a Toys R Us? I mean, obviously we do because it's. I think
We
Toys
do,
R Us would be
but
more
that's different.
successful now because we care about this
Yes.
stuff. But in our day and age, like,
No.
do I want to go as a parent, go with my kids to a toy store and just watch them walk around all these aisles for a bit? Or do I want to take them to Walmart? I can look at whatever the fuck I want and they can go look at toys and then kind of go from there.
And parents have done that all the time. Back when I used to work at Kmart and Walmart, the parents will drop their kids off in the toy section, let them destroy it while they go do the rest of their shopping and come back and pick them up at the end. You know, it's a fact of life where, yes, you're right. Nowadays, we would want the experience of taking our kids to a toy store
If
walking those aisles.
I know there's some Toys R Us in Canada, but like if they
Mhm.
reopen Toys R Us, and I even saw
They
an
are.
article just
24 of
recently, yeah, they're putting some new Toys R Us out there. But I think when you start seeing them, it's going to be more of us, like it's going to be all like middle-aged males in the toy store and not kids. Like
That's all that's down the toy aisles
Yeah.
at Walmart and Meijer. Like I
Yeah.
rarely see you see like the little kids over in like the Fisher Price section, but
Right.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
you also notice too when you're walking in these places too, what toys are actually selling. You go
Yeah.
down the action figure aisles, most of the time they're empty, trashed, look like shit.
Yeah.
You go down those little kids aisles, like, you know, with the Imaginext and the Paw
Completely
Patrol
filled.
stuff,
Yeah.
stocked to the gills.
Stocked.
Yeah.
And it's because we are and this kind of comes into some other stuff that I like to talk about with toys. Is like people say that kids aren't buying toys. I want to have a very, very alarming realization to a lot of people out there. Kids don't have fucking money. Kids have never bought toys.
Right.
Parents bought toys for the kids.
But kids aren't interested in toys. But
kids don't buy toys. We do.
Here's one of the things that I think hurt Toys R Us. Like you walked into Toys R Us, and like you get it, like the first section, like they funnel you when you come in the door, like you're funneled into this walkway that you have to go through, which is filled with like stupid shit, like little trinkets and candy and stuff that like I don't know. You got to walk by that stuff. Yeah. Then you got to go through like the board games and shit that nobody cares about. Then you got to go through like the baby toys that nobody's ever in. Then you get through the girls' toys that nobody cares about. And then you finally get to like the 3-4 aisles that have the fucking gold, right? That everybody wants. And that's the only place that you see anybody. Like, unless they're walking through the store to get to that area. Like, those are the only. So don't make your store fucking massive with all this shit that nobody wants. Just make a store like this and just carry the good stuff that people actually are interested in.
And now here's the other side of this conversation, because kids aren't the ones buying toys. However, kids toys sales make up over 80% of the market. Okay. We think in minds of the communities that we walk through and the, where we hang out, the people that we talk with. All of us are adult collectors, right? And we seem to think that we have this majority share in the toy market, which we don't. We absolutely do not.
Well, we don't, because it's not available. The shit that we want isn't on the shelves.
No, that's not it at all.
I think it is, because look at where the people are. When you walk through a store and you get to the toy area,
let me finish this. Go ahead. The entire toy industry is not action figures. Fact of the matter.
Understood.
Hasbro and Mattel, big two. They could cut all their action figure lines today, and they would still be going in more. They would have plenty of profits to carry on without selling another single action figure. Barbie sells well more than the entire action figure line at Mattel.
You could consider Barbie an action figure, but okay.
Hot Wheels and Matchbox sell way more than any single action figure line at Mattel. All the board games and stuff that Hasbro owns sell more than Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Marvel combined. Maybe not Star Wars in those top 4. But if each of the big 2 toy companies cut their action figure lines, they would be they'd still make plenty of money to continue carrying on business, because action figures are not the big seller. Last year, when they reported fiscal numbers, they were talking about how kidults make up a growth of 12.4% in the market. We're not even a quarter of the freaking market. And when they say kidult, their age measurement was 12 plus. So don't get too offended by the term kidult, because they were including people who are under the age of 18.
That's the top 2, which is why I feel like these companies like Four Horsemen, like Diamond Select, like Mayfax, all these guys are getting us more, because
Diamond Select still falls within more. Like Diamond Select has a couple of other things, but every one of these companies are boutique brands where this is their only horse in the market.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I prefer going with them now. That's what's drawing me to these things and everything else, because,
And that's why we also pay premium dollar for these figures.
100%.
You're not going to.
I think that numbers and percentages and all that. I mean, okay. I haven't verified any of the stuff that you said. I'll just take it at face value and be like, okay, your percentages are accurate. they can be misleading too. I know when I walk through a store, I don't see people walking down the board game aisle. I don't see people walking around, and I have to walk by that stuff. I don't see people like gathering up in the Barbie aisle looking for that
Sure.
stuff.
No,
So,
'cause
but I do see people in
Yep.
the
But you're
action figure
also
aisles that we go
thinking-
to. Hold on a second. Hold on. I see people going to the action figure aisle, but I also
Okay.
see them walking out empty-handed. And why is that? Because they fill the pegs with shit that doesn't move, that nobody cares about, and then the stuff that you're actually looking for isn't there. So that is not
stuff that
that is
we're
not an
looking
indication
for.
of who is interested in what. It's an indication of these stores aren't managing their shelves properly. So that in my opinion is the problem with like your big box retailers, is that they fill their stores with shit that people don't want. Like, I'll give you an example. Motu Origins. We've talked about this before. Motu Origins, they filled the fucking pegs with all these Skeletors and He-Mans, right? Fucking million of them. Like, you had them so much that they were clearancing them out for like $5 a piece and still couldn't sell them. And then the new waves would come in with figures that actually people would want, and they're sitting in the back room because all the pegs are full of He-Man and Skeletor. And so people are walking into the store wanting to buy, money in hand, ready to buy, go to the aisle, look to get the shit, and it's not there. What do they have? They have the same figure that I already bought, that has been on the peg for the last 3 months. That's why it doesn't work.
So, and again, you're forgetting the fact that yes, you're not finding people in these toy aisles because of the topic we were talking about before. Because you could order all that shit online way easier than walking into a toy store. People don't go to a store to shop toys anymore. They do it online from their phone. Also, a lot of these games, toys that are getting bought for kids are gifts.
Yep.
You don't go to the store with your child. Like, it's not the same day and age when we grew up where our parents used to try and sneaky shop all of our Christmas stuff while we were there with them, or birthday gifts. That just doesn't happen anymore. And you do still see that in toy stores. At least I see it when I go hunting on the weekends, where yes, you still got the parent walking around with the kid in the toy aisle. They're most of the time looking for a gift for a friend's birthday or whatever that's coming up, or a family member, right? But most of the other purchases, it's happening online. It's not in store. That's where most people buy these. Now, when you're talking about, like, especially with He-Man, that comes down to a SKU and distribution issue, right? So when they stock product in a store, it's all done by SKUs. Okay. Guess what? First wave of Origins that hit the stores, Skeletor, SKU. He-Man, SKU. Rest of the wave, assorted. One SKU for the rest of the wave.
Yep.
And it stayed like that from waves 1 through 7. Okay. Distribution was messed up due to COVID. It was hard for things to come in, hard for people to get stuff. So we're all buying everything like crazy online because it's the only way we can find stuff. You know, I was out hunting for like 2 years, couldn't find anything. Then finally found waves 5, 6, 7 within a span of 3 months. You know where it stopped? Wave 7. Because all those other waves were moving off the shelves pretty quick. So they're like, we need more. We need more. So they order more. However, it's an assorted wave by SKU. There is no named character. So you're not going to be able to just order more of this character, more of that character. It's a SKU for an assorted wave. So all of these are clogging the shelf. And guess what wave it kind of stopped at? They ordered all these extra assorted waves. But by that time, they were producing, guess what? Naked Stratos and Buzz-Off and Sorceress and Jitsu. And they all came in and it clogged the shelves. And nobody was buying these. So guess what happens? The store stops ordering SKU because it's got stock. And then we start saying, well, we're not finding any of the new waves. We're not finding any of the new waves. You carry your business to online retailers like Big Bad Toy Store, carry that online store business to these. But we all still have this old mentality of going to a store and toy hunting, the thrill of the hunt in the store. We like doing it. That's how we were raised. There's something so satisfying about picking up your toy in the store and getting it. But that's not where the business is. That's why they've switched up the way they're doing things, especially because, again, Motu is my wheelhouse. I talk about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Masters of the Universe has switched up the way they're doing things. Origins Vintage. So the rest of the Vintage line that's coming out, it's all Mattel Creations from here on out. That's it. You're going to get the cartoon and filmation line at retail, hoping that these re-releases of core characters in the filmation style are going to help drive some more. You're going to get 2 cartoon characters per wave. You're also going to get 2 fan favorite re-releases per wave to create a wave of 4 figures. So figures like King Randor, I know he's one of the ones that's up next. Triclops, he's coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
These are going to be re-released in retail to try and help keep driving sales at retail. But the rest of the vintage line that we're looking for, it's all going to be at Mattel Creations because they're not going to bother to put it on shelves. They're also probably going to charge a premium price for all of those too at Mattel Creations due to the fact that it's all unique individual tooling for pretty much all the rest of the vintage line at this point because they put out just about every figure that has shared parts. And don't get me started on their retail exclusives because I have no fucking idea why they continue to push retail exclusives when they are the worst figures to try and get. But the truth behind things is that we're not the drivers behind toy sales, except in boutique companies like the Big Bad Beautiful Wonderful World of Four Horsemen. Because guess what? Ain't no kid buying no Four Horsemen figures.
I'm going to pull up a couple comments from the chat real quick because I just got to make fun of Hedgehog for a second. He has great pizza toppings, but sometimes his idea on toys are stupid. He's talking about, parents buying a lot of Barbies. I got 3 girls that, I've raised from start to finish. And one is in, her early 20s now. And the other 2 are 17. Never once bought a Barbie for them. Not because I didn't, I fought against it or said, I don't want to, they never asked for a Barbie. So yeah, my experience is that my kids, they cared about technology. They cared about, computers, phones, whatever. They didn't give a shit about Barbies. So I don't know about that. Then over here, he says, our demographic is buying less toys than I did 2 years ago. That's because we're, the economy is shit right now. Mm-hmm. And everybody's buying less of everything than we did 2 years ago, as far as, anything that's just extra spending money. You just don't have it. So yeah, I don't think that is an indication of the interest in toys. Now to what you were saying, Oz, like, I agree with what you're saying as far as the store and what's being purchased and stuff like that. That's why we have to go to online retailers, because you go to a store right now. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago with the new X-Men 97 wave. You go to the store right now and they've got a wave of like 6 figures, right? You got Storm, Cyclops, Wolverine, Rogue, Gambit, and Bishop, and Magneto. So 7 figures. You go to the store, you only find Magneto and Bishop. That's it. So if you want all of them, you can only get Magneto and Bishop. And who knows if your store will ever have the other ones. You were just talking about the Ghostbusters, and you go and you can't find Winston, and you can't find Egon, and this and that. You go online, guess what? If I want all of them, I can get all of them. I can get them right there at a click of a button. And so all of us have shifted our interest to buying online. Now it still is fun to do the hunt thing and see if you find something in the wild.
Get what you want.
But it just doesn't happen. It's like typically, I don't know, if I go into a Target, I would say 9 times out of 10, maybe 19 times out of 20, I walk out of that aisle empty-handed, because there's several things that I was looking for and not one of them was on the shelf. And that to me is more of an indication of how bad the distribution is, how bad the stores manage their planograms, to where you have big sections of empty pegs, and then you have these pegs that are full of stuff that's not moving. It's terrible management. And so what I was saying is, like, if you did like a Toys R Us or something where you focused on certain toy lines or certain brands or whatever, and you made sure that if I'm going to carry X-Men 97, I'm going to make sure I've got every one of those figures on the shelf available. If I'm going to carry the Ghostbusters, I'm going to make sure all 4 Ghostbusters are available. Like if you actually managed it correctly, then I think you could bring this back for our generation, for the adult collectors, the kidults or whatever. I think you could make it work. But right now, retailers don't give a shit. Like Walmart doesn't care that they've got empty pegs in the toy aisle. They don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to them. So
right. And, you know, and that's definitely it, because guess what? They'll turn around and sell it to you online, whether it's in the store or not. And then I have a flip side to that whole thing, because I love the fact that you can pre-order all these toys through Walmart, Target, and then, you know, Target will ping your card 300 times and you're guaranteed to get this toy or whatever like that. And then all of a sudden people start picking it up in store, and next thing you know, they've canceled your pre-order. And Walmart will do the same thing. You'll pre-order it and then they'll cancel it.
Joey says Magneto and Bishop aren't selling. That's racist. No, it's not that they're not selling. Those are the only ones they're getting in. Like they're not sending a box. You know, the Hasbro is not sending them a box that has all the figures of that wave. They're sending them a box of Magneto, a box of Bishop, and then you don't get the other ones.
You're assuming that first off, Magneto and Bishop are in 2 separate boxes.
Whatever. It could be they could be combined together. What I know wasn't in that box, because I saw them stock the shelf. There wasn't a Cyclops. There wasn't a Wolverine. There wasn't a Storm. There wasn't a Gambit. There wasn't a Rogue. Those were not in that box. That's for sure.
It's funny you say that. I just saw a peg full of Gambit today.
And who was it that Sean just got the Gambit, but didn't? Or no, he saw that in the store, and he said that was it. They just had Gambit, and then I think Bishop or something. Well, so it's like, why as a company, like why is Hasbro sending them a box with 1 or 2 figures out of a 7-figure wave?
Well,
like, that doesn't even make sense.
Target is one of those.
It's going to be a SKU thing.
Right. Well, Target is one of the companies that is known to not send a full case to a store. Instead, when the full cases hit their distribution center, they will then split it proportionally to their stores. So say your Targets sell less than whatever their internal criteria meets for a full case, then they will split the case into half and send half to one store and half to another store in their repack totes. However, the person working in the warehouse doesn't give a shit about what's in there. He just goes, I got to take half of this.
Let me jump in here real quick, because let me jump in. Target. Let me jump in, because I worked at Target. I worked in their distribution centers for 2 years, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's exactly what happened. Like you would bust open a box from Hasbro, and it would say this store gets 5, this store gets 7, this store gets 10, whatever. And these like totes would come down the line, or boxes would come down the line, whatever. And you would fill it with those figures. And a lot of times you may have a store that only gets Magneto and Bishop, and this store only gets Gambit or whatever. And that's just the way it is. But that's shitty distribution. That's terrible. What Hasbro should do to try to fix that and make sure that they have good representation in the store is make sure that every box they send out has all of those figures. So even if you're randomly pulling them out of a box, you're going to probably fall into getting several of those different figures rather than what we're getting.
The only way to eliminate that and to make sure that all your figures get out there is to sell them directly to consumers. That is the only way.
That's
the way that we currently have.
Completely.
Yes.
Because again, a lot of this falls down onto the SKU. SKUs go beyond the retailer. Okay. I mean, you can even hear Scott Nutlick talk about how SKUs work and how they only have so many SKUs to use for each product wave and line, right? Each individual item can be its own SKU. And then guess what? You've run out of SKUs because they only have a certain number of SKUs that they can use. So you group several things together. Again, like He-Man's going to be one SKU. Skeletor is going to be another SKU. And the reason that those two got individual SKUs, They didn't want a repeat of 1986 and 87
Well,
when people
you
wanted
couldn't
more
get 'em.
He-Man and
I get it.
Skeletor,
Yeah.
but they couldn't. And then the rest of the wave is assorted, which is just what general SKU got used for the rest of it. So now, what you're saying about this, now I can't speak for Target because I never worked at a Target, but I can guarantee you at every Walmart, they don't split toys up like that. Okay. When a box of Mattel shit comes into a Walmart, it's whatever's in that box of Mattel shit. So if that Mattel box is for an individual SKU of assorted, you're going to get your pick of the litter in that SKU. You know, everything's in there. Now, if I were going to do individualized SKUs and I was Hasbro, now again, this is before the realization here of what you guys were saying, at least about Target, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gambit would be his own SKU because, again, you can see Gambit is a fan favorite. Big fan favorite. He was one of the few that got his own book. Wolverine, a fan favorite, got his own comic. Magneto did eventually get his own comic, but it took a little bit longer than the other guys. Gambit got his own, or
I
Bishop.
would argue that each of those, they didn't put out 30 figures.
No.
That wave has 7 figures, and I would say that they're, you could make the argument that Wolverine is going to sell better than Storm or something like that. But I would say each one of those is individually important enough.
So why do you do a wave?
It should have been one mixed SKU that was everything, and it was all.
Okay.
If you ordered a box, it should have. Let's say that you order a box and it's got 14 figures. That would be 2 sets of all the characters. That's what should be in that box.
Right. You could do that, but if you're going to sell the whole wave, right?
Mm.
You could also just be like, all right, we're going to do an individual SKU for this guy, individual SKU for this guy. Again, He-Man, Skeletor. And then do a sorted on the rest based off popularity because, they might want to order more Wolverine. Because Wolverine sells.
What they used to do in the past, like with the original Star Wars line, like stuff like that, they would take a case of figures that they would send out. And if there was, let's say 24 in a case or whatever, they would have, you would have more Lukes than you would have Leias, right?
Yes,
but every case would have like 1 or 2 Leias, and then it would have some Lukes, they have some Obi-Wans, have some Vaders, whatever. And so the amount that they put in each case varied based on what they thought was going to sell based on their research or whatever. But every case still had those figures in it from that wave. And I think, it's just like I said, the distribution's terrible. The shelf management in Target and Walmart is terrible. But I think it's because they just don't give a shit about toys. Because in the grand scheme of things, the money that they make off of toys doesn't match the money that they're making off of anything else. Like you go to, their electronics area, you go to, their food.
I'll tell you
their
firsthand,
clothes,
they don't
whatever.
make money off of electronics.
Well, you make money off the cables and the ink and all that
stuff you do
with it.
But you don't make any money off the video games.
Like you go and buy a desk from Walmart for let's say $200. Probably cost them, if I had to guess, just from my time in retail, that desk probably cost them about $40, maybe $50.
Well, see, I'm the guy who buys the $40 desk. Because I ain't bougie like that. I don't buy no $200.
If you buy a $40 desk, guess what? That cost them probably like $10.
I'm sure it did because this is a glorified coffee tray.
Is at least 200%, if not more. So
because there are certain things that they do mark up higher, but that's so that they can sell that other stuff at that dirt cheap price. Again, you sell the things that people need at the lowest possible price you can. Produce, groceries, and stuff like that.
Yep.
They're selling that cheaper than grocery stores are because it's bringing people into the store. And then you sell all the other little wants, and I might as well get it because I'm here's at least third marked up because that's general. That's how all of those stores have always worked. That's how Kmart
That's
worked.
why there's not a lot of markup in electronics because they know they can get you in with, like when I was working at Best Buy, you could go in there and buy now TVs. There's a lot of markup. So you go buy a TV and you can kind of negotiate a deal with them at Best Buy for a TV. You can say, oh, it's a little pricey, whatever, and they'll knock some money off or whatever. You go buy a computer, there's like no mark. Like they're selling it to you for almost the exact price that they got it for. But they know once they sell you a computer, they could sell you the cables, they could sell you the service plan, they could sell you ink for your printer, they could sell you all this other stuff where there's a massive amount of markup in it. And not only are they going to get you for that first go around, but then when you have to come back for more ink and more paper and more this and that, and they're going to get you each time. So
yeah, I mean that's just 100% how that retail storefront works.
Yeah.
I just realized that Raigon has a Yu Yu Hakusho shirt on, so that's pretty cool, man.
Damn right it is.
They got a live action show.
Oh yeah,
no idea what that is.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
I'm lukewarm on the
animes that I've watched like a significant amount of, so it's really fun.
Well, I've been recognizing your Legend of Zelda shirt the whole night.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we're done with the circle jerk.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were looking at Big Bad Toy Store.
We were looking at toys. I just want to look at Memory Toys real quick because I was talking about them earlier and just see what they've got, if I could spell correctly. So there's the polar bear, which
with bonus armor.
Yeah, they did that, I think, at all the retailers where they did the little bonus armor sets in order to sell them. So I know Memory Toys is doing some creative selling when it comes to the orcs. I don't know if they've got them.
Go back up to the gorilla monkey.
Okay.
Or the gorilla, he's like a karate. No. They had a karate one earlier.
Yeah.
Mr. G.
Look at him. Look at this guy, right? How do you not want this guy on your shelf?
Yeah, that's cool.
He was at PowerCon.
Is that a Mr.
5K
monkey?
tours.
Go with the group picture, Curtis.
It's I don't know.
Look at
he's a rapper, maybe.
As for mostly white guys, are we allowed to comment on this? This feels unsafe.
Look,
I don't
man,
know.
I'm just saying the one in the geese sold it for me.
It is pretty sweet.
They got the orcs on here. I don't know that they have the ones that I'm thinking of because they did some kind of they've only got the red one on here. Let me go to 5K real quick.
Yeah, 5K.
Did you get it from?
Find the Memory Toys.
I got mine
Did you
from
get
5K.
it from Beef? Okay.
Yeah.
What was
they've
the
got
price at 5K?
No, Joe.
The red one they don't have anymore, but I think it was like 85.
That's not bad.
But I wanted to talk about another little thing here. So hold on one second. It's these ancient ones. These ones here. So they've got like these sets. So this is kit 1, which comes with the tan skin, and then you get these parts as a quote unquote gift, right? Well, when you get the gift and put it on the body, it makes a character that is identical to a character in World of Warcraft. All right. So they don't, like, you look at this, they don't actually even show you the parts that you're going to get. They show you like a stained glass image of what the parts will look like. But if you look up images online, you can see what they are, and they're basically a stolen IP. But they do it as a gift, so they can sell it that way. And I've seen Ramen doing something like Ramen's trying to sell the General Lee, but they don't market it as a General Lee. They market it as like an orange car. But then when you buy it from them, there's like a box that you can check for the sticker gift, which they give you then the Confederate flag stickers and the
same thing with it was the same thing if you ordered their Aces of Aviation, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you ordered those, you could get your gift of the free head sculpt that looked a lot like a Maverick, some crazy Maverick.
And initially they were calling it Maverick, but then they got in trouble. And then they're like, okay, well, we're not going to sell the Maverick figure, Now
Yeah,
we're going to sell this aviation figure, and if
Aces
you buy
of
it,
Aviation.
yeah,
That's right.
now we'll give you a head sculpt that looks
Ace
identical to Tom Cruise as a gift.
Ace knows exactly what he's doing. He's doing a wonderful job.
This is
He had to
another one
do-
here. This has got the big bone shoulder armor, and this is another character from World of Warcraft. But they don't even show you, like, in the pictures, like as you scroll through the 5K, they don't even show you a picture of this character with this stuff on it. They just show you this little stained glass thing.
Right.
So when it comes to these gifts to get around stolen IPs, what are your guys' thoughts on this stuff?
It's genius. They can't sell it. If they sell it and they make a profit off of it, now you've broken the law. You open yourself up to lawsuits. But if you're giving people a gift, well, there's nothing that says you can't just give it away.
I mean, they're getting away with it, so I'm guessing that it's legal enough. But is it shade? Like, would you feel bad buying something? Like, if let's say you're a big World of Warcraft fan and you love this character, and Blizzard, Activision, whoever owns them now, I think Activision bought out Blizzard, but whatever.
They did years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've never put out this figure, and you've wanted this figure, and you see it here. Would you feel bad about buying this figure, knowing that it's a little shady?
No, I'm not, because Blizzard's sitting on it. They're not doing anything with it. So why would I feel bad about somebody giving me what I want, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the last time they put out Warcraft toys or StarCraft toys, I was reading about them in Toy Fair. All right? Toy Fair. It's been
they did some from the movie, but they were absolute dog shit. So.
I didn't even recognize those, and they were probably from McFarlane. So, but I mean, that's the truth behind it, right? Like, that's one of those things that, and I'm a big supporter of Ace at Ramen Toy and what he's doing, because, like, there are some companies out there sitting on IPs, and especially when it's such a nostalgia-driven market for us, right? And we're not getting what we want. If somebody is brave enough to do what they can to put that toy in our hand, why should we be upset?
Yeah, I'll let you guys know. I ordered this figure, and I ordered I ordered this figure today. After I got that red one and opened it up and saw how awesome it was, I ordered those right away. And I do not feel the least bit bad about it for exactly the reasons that Oz just said. Like, the brand that owns this stuff hasn't done anything with it, and I've wanted these figures, and we didn't get them. So now, if I can get them, I'm as just a consumer, I'm gonna buy it, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it. So, same thing with the Silverhawks. Like, I know initially Ramen worked with Super 7 and they let them use the license, and then they kind of changed their mind on that because they decided they were going to do vac metal, and so now Ramen's just going to put out their own, and they're going to call them like titanium something, but it's basically going to be the Silverhawks. It's like pretty much going to be the Silverhawks. So and sometimes that competition can be good for business. Like, I mean, you see
what it did.
The improvement on the classified line with Bobby Vala and what he's done with Action Force. Like, classified, the G.I. Joe classified right now is super hitting their stride. Like, they're just putting out some fire. But would they have been doing that same thing had it not been for Action Force kind of pushing against them and doing some of that stuff?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I definitely see a comparison there, and being deeply involved with some members of the community through that. Personal feelings about Bobby Vala aside, like, you need competition to drive innovation.
Yeah,
it's simple. It's really simple. So if you have nobody to compete with, your product becomes shit because there's nothing that strives you to do better.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We don't have like, the people that run these toy companies, even the smaller ones, it's not like Mother Teresa. Some of these guys are assholes. Bobby Vala is an asshole. I would even say Ace is kind of an asshole. He's very shady. But if they put something out that's interesting that I wasn't getting from the person that owns the IP, I'm probably going to buy it.
Yeah.
If it's good enough,
Oh yeah.
I'm probably going to buy it. Now I'll be less likely to buy it because, who they are as a person. I don't really want to support them,
Yep.
whereas like, for instance, the Matt Rodriguez, friend of the show,
Yep.
putting out his Dino line. His Dino line could be complete shit, and I would buy it because I want to support Matt Rodriguez. Turns out that they're actually great figures and want to support Matt. So it's like an easy all in. Then it's like, okay, I'm definitely doing this because he's a great
Sculpted by the
person.
4 Horsemen.
Yeah.
Right.
Sculpted by the 4 Horsemen.
I was gonna say it's a little tough not to want to help support Matt when Matt's getting help from the guys that we love to support anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's everything about Armies of Ashmore and Defenders of Eden says buy me. Every part of it. And I love Matt Rodriguez.
Yeah, when the toys are great and the owner is great, then it makes it an easy buy. When the toys are great and the owner's an ass, makes it less easy, but you're still probably going to pull the trigger. If the owner's an ass and the toys are shit, it's not happening.
And in that instance, then let's talk about a complete comparison here with something with Matt Rodriguez, and that's happened with was it Boss Fight Studios, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure they're the ones that are doing it. These Sorozoic Warriors.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I think so.
Those guys, the ones that like Boss Fight did, where they basically stole Matt's designs, said, "Okay, we're not going to put out your figures." They did them up a little bit differently, and then they were like, "All right, we're going Ninja Turtle style with this thing," and started putting those out. Right now,
I mean, there's certain things that maybe Dooch and I know from talking with Matt that we maybe can or can't share.
Yeah, we really
right. I know, but there's certain things that I won't talk about.
Here's what I'll say though. It's like there's an episode of Seinfeld where Kramer wants to sell, I think to Calvin Klein, wants to sell a cologne that's the scent of the beach. And Calvin Klein they basically laugh him out of the thing. And like, nobody wants to smell like the beach, like dead fish and nasty. Like, this is gross. This is stupid. And then, a few months later down the road, next thing you know, Calvin Klein puts out their own cologne that's like the scent of the beach. And it's like, what the fuck, man? You just told me this was a shitty idea. You didn't want to do it. And then now you're going out here and doing it on your own without me. That's not, I will just say that situation in Seinfeld is not very cool. So,
agreed.
Exactly. And you know what, though? There's been some really cool toys coming out from Boss Fight Studios. I won't support them.
No.
Just because, I'm sorry, you're not going to do something like that to somebody. I'm not going to get behind you for that. And again, I won't buy products from somebody that I can't. I'm not going to support somebody's business if I can't stand by their morals. I can't do that, especially when there's a better product coming out by somebody I like more anyway.
It's one thing to kind of pull something shady or screw Hasbro or Mattel, some big entity organization.
Oh yeah.
When you're screwing over somebody that is just trying to make it into the business and has an idea, has a dream that they want to bring to life, and you screw that person over, that's like way shittier, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So
I completely agree with that. But when I'm talking about another person, again, we've already mentioned their name, I ain't mad about him for what he did to Hasbro. I'm mad about him and don't care for him and his product because of his own personal choices of what he does.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if you're going to spend all your time talking shit about other people, you're just a shitty person and they're not going to support you.
And I think that's why he's not on social media anymore, if it's who I think you're talking about.
Yeah.
Quick shout out, My Buddy's Customs 1/6 shooter.
He certainly pulled himself out of that market for the moment.
I'm getting a little late night
Yeah.
resurgence. Thanks for joining
Getting
us,
all
guys.
the
Yeah, this is usually when people start joining in because they know
Uh,
Jesse will be on soon. So
My nipples are erect.
that's
just
what it is.
thinking
Everybody's
about
coming in.
showing up.
His long, luscious locks.
Mhm.
yeah, I made like a little diagram. I think it was last year sometime or something. It was like if you're a piece of shit creator with bad toys, not buying your stuff. If you're a piece of shit creator with good toys, I may buy your stuff. If you're a good creator with bad toys, I may buy your stuff. If you're a good creator with good toys, I'm definitely buying your stuff. So it's like, both of those factors, like the quality of the toy and the quality of the person putting them out, are things to consider. So I don't know. Everybody's got to make their own choices. So, and sometimes you just don't know. Like I bought this figure from Memory Toys. I know nothing about Memory Toys. I just know the figure looks cool, and I got it in hand, and it's pretty fucking awesome. So now, if I find out tomorrow that they're beating puppies, that would make me like it a little bit less. But it's still a cool toy.
Hey, I'd rather they be beating humans than beating puppies. If you're committing violence against other humans, I'm more inclined to buy your toys than I am if I find out you're beating animals. I'll say that.
It's true.
Yeah. So, all right. What else? Anything else been going on you guys want to discuss while we buy time for Jesse to get here?
What's up with this buttered sausage thing, right? What do you guys feel about butter sausage? What it's doing?
It's not my jam.
Not my jam.
I use honey and I kiss it on the lips.
Yeah, you would. You would.
I tell you what, I've lately. I mean, I've been painting some stuff for Legion's Con, but otherwise, I've been painting a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. Joe Gonzalez got me on this Baldur's Gate 3. And man, I'm fucking loving it. It's awesome. Like
I haven't gamed for years now at this point, and there are certain games that are out there right now that are really making me want to get back into gaming. I know, all right. So recently, I saw like a Switch bundle for like $90. I was like, ooh, under $100, and I can get a Switch. That ain't bad, right? And you know what just came out today again, because I'm a big Ghostbusters fan, that Ghostbusters Unleashed game with like all the DLC, and they've got a lot of free DLC packs too to go with that. Man, I was like, ooh, I kind of want, but right now that'll be an after Christmas, maybe my birthday thing, because it's all about Legion's Con coming up. Like that's really where my focus is. Gotta make it to Legion's Con.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played a game system game in years.
Right.
It's just not something that, I may pop on the phone and play like a solitaire or something, some old man game or something. Spades. But I really haven't played like a game system game in years. But Joe kind of talked me into this whole Baldur's Gate, and it's awesome, man. I'm going in there, I'm creating my character, and it's like, okay, select your hairstyle. Did that pretty quickly, and select your hair, facial hair. Selected that, and what kind of character you're going to create. Do you want any tattoos and all that kind of stuff? And then it's like, select your penis. I'm sorry, select your genitalia, because you can also be a girl. But and I'm like, there were like 3 different penis options, and I will say,
I thought they wanted you to play an instrument.
No, I will say I spent less time selecting my eye color, less time selecting the nose I was going to have, less time selecting a lot of different things than choosing between those 3 penises. It took a little bit. So I'm just letting you know, if anybody hasn't played Baldur's Gate 3 and you go to play it, just be prepared. You need to make some real tough decisions. So,
can I ask why it took a little bit?
Well, I first of all, and I don't know if this is,
did you go
by
girth
race
or length?
Just grab the first one that speaks to you.
I don't know if it's by race, but I will say that this was a dwarf character that I was making, and they were all pretty small, right? and so I didn't notice a whole lot of difference. So I really had to examine. I know one kind of had, had
break out the magnifying glass.
Yeah, one had the bald look going on. One had, kind of a nice 70s bush. But I couldn't really tell much of a difference between the three penises. So I had to just spend some time, kind of examining it. And I finally went one with that I thought was pretty good. And I haven't seen it come up in the game yet. I mean, it may come up at some point to where it plays a factor. I don't know. Yeah, he's been
Typically, you got to play with it a little
pretty
bit
much.
before it comes up. So,
yeah. So,
so apparently it's all the same twig and berries. It's just about the manscaping around it, is what you're telling me.
It seemed that way.
So you get to pick your pube style. Like you get to pick your top style, and you get to pick your bottom
dwarves are
style.
growers, not showers. So that could be it. But Baldur's Gate is based around D&D, really.
Yep.
And speaking of D&D, back from D&D.
Hey,
Yes.
You like that transition?
Welcome to my office.
From
as long as it gets us off the topic,
Baldur's Gate, D&D, Jesse
Warfare.
Arnold. Boom. That's your Kevin Bacon to Jesse Arnold.
I mean, it's not hard to jump from me to just about anything. I mean, some things. But
I can connect you to penis and 4 moves.
Or
please don't.
what takes that long?
I do not consent.
No means no, Curtis. No means no.
Jesse comes on and we get 7 viewers with him. Awesome.
I was like driving home and I'm listening to you guys or the whole borderline ragging on other toy companies, blah, 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 blah. And then I log on and you're talking about picking your dwarf dog on Baldur's Gate.
Dwarf dog.
Well,
I mean, I can't tell you which one I want to talk about last.
Dwarves are not pianists, they're dongers.
That's actually a type
my buddy
of
Customs
meat or kebab or
says if you're a druid, you can have bear sex. So interesting.
What the? Okay.
I did play the original Baldur's Gate.
They had a lot less sex options back then.
They did.
That
yes, lots more fighting. But yeah, between Baldur's Gate and the new Spider-Man games that are out.
Did the Spider-Man 2, did that come out today?
I think today.
I thought that was today.
Yeah, I've seen it everywhere.
You have sex with a bear in Spider-Man 2?
Yes.
No.
That definitely. I mean,
do you know that for sure, Curtis?
I don't think you do. I don't know. I did when we bought our PS5. It came with a free version of Spider-Man 2 when it came out. So I'll probably jump in there this weekend, and I'll let you guys know if there's any bear sex.
All right, let us know.
So,
but yeah,
I mean, that's a hot topic for debate.
I'm the same way. I haven't played games in years, but it's really tempting lately. The one thing we do is we've got this. My kids have a couple Switches, and we do like the NES, the classic NES and Super Nintendo. We spend a lot of time on there. Dr. Mario and all the Marios. There's a ton of freaking games on there just for doing that Nintendo Online. Like it's well worth it.
Guys,
I'm just really confused now because we're talking about
I need a coffee break.
Picking your junk and bear sex, and then you're talking about your kids and their Switch. I'm really confused about what we're talking about right now.
Wow, Jesse,
I mean, we kind of transitioned off of
you can't follow
You
any.
can go back to it if you want.
I'm sorry, like you're like one sentence removed. I'm not going to go back and watch the whatever 8.5 hours of the show that I missed.
Wow,
just
I'd do it for you.
Jesse, I love you. How was D&D tonight, sir?
Would you though?
Yeah.
D&D was fine until one of my companions in the party used suggestion on me for the second time in a row, and I failed my save on it, and I had to prevent my other friends from going up the stairs in this house. So yeah, that was fun.
Interesting. I'd like to play D&D sometime, but the the one guy I've talked to that's kind of a D&D guy that was supposed to be putting a game together, it just kind of hasn't come to fruition. I'm starting to think maybe he just doesn't want to play with me. So,
Oh,
yeah,
are
I
you
don't know.
like? Did Steven
Maybe one
possess
day.
you or something? Because I have repeatedly said I'm not doing anything with D&D until next year. If you're talking about me,
Yes, I was. So maybe I'll have to turn to Joe Gonzalez. Joe will get a game together for me.
Let's do it.
He's working a lot. He doesn't have a lot of time to put together a D&D game, but if I asked him, Joe would do it for me. So, all right. What else is going on? Loki's
here's
out
to
there.
all
You guys
your
ready?
stat rolls being low.
Oh, you son
You
of a
guys ready
bitch.
for Legion's Con?
Oh, hell yeah.
Is that coming up?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Damn, you know what? Oh, I forgot. One of my questions I was going to ask you is, why the hell would anybody want to go visit the Legends of Grayskull table? That was going to be one of my interview questions. I should have thrown that out there.
Well, you missed your shot.
Yeah, that's all right.
I got to get somebody. I didn't think I was going to keep much out of this wave. I figured I'd just get it and unload some, but I don't know. They're all pretty fucking cool.
That's cool.
I need somebody to put some paint on this ogre for me. If you guys know anybody, that could be kind of sweet.
Trevor, I'm trying. I keep hitting up Jesse, but you know, we'll see. Maybe one day.
2024. I like what else do you want? Like, it hasn't happened yet. I can't speed up time.
All right.
After Legion's Con, I will start preparing stuff.
All right,
it's going to be hard. We're going to have to get a bunch of you folks to commit to showing up at the same time on a regular basis.
Speaking of time travel, anybody watching Loki?
Yes.
No.
What are your thoughts so far, Jesse?
I'm really enjoying it.
Spoiler-free thoughts, huh?
I thought this episode was cool. I think the gag of this week's episode ran a little bit long, but overall, I'm enjoying it. I think it's a cool story. I'm enjoying where it's going. I think the performances are all great. Yeah, I think it's actually improving on season 1.
Yeah, I'm only 2 episodes in so far. I haven't watched the third, but I would say 2 episodes in, I'm definitely more engaged than I was with season 1 at this point. So I'm pretty happy with it. What about you, dude? You watching Loki?
I've watched the first episode.
And thoughts
of season 2?
Of season 2, yes. I watched all of season 1. Okay. The only complaint
I wasn't
had about
sure.
Yeah. No, I like to start with season 2, and then if I like season,
then go back
and you know.
I just know you have a lot of things on your plate. I wasn't sure if you had watched season 1 already.
Black Cauldron Book of 3 thing. Like, I've read everything except for the first books. But no,
was that a dig?
Kind of.
Sounded like it.
More like,
I'm sorry that my library didn't have the book I wanted when I was a child.
It was more, I remember your stories and I pay attention to you and I see you and I love you. That's more where I was coming from. But, you know.
Maybe say that before I go off on a tangent.
You were saying your only complaint about it is what?
I felt unfulfilled at the end of the first season. It just felt like it left too much up in the air. I do like that we're kind of regrouping on the TVA, and one of the big missteps for me in season 1 was I felt like Morbius, right? Owen Wilson's
Mobius.
character?
No
R. Mobius. I wanted to see more of him in Loki. Like, I thought that's what season 1 was going to be. It was more like this kind of buddy cop, opposite, Birds of Murtaugh type thing. And I got away from that real quick. So I'm kind of hoping after episode 1 of season 2 that we're going to kind of see a bit more of that and hopefully get some more concrete answers of what the fuck is actually going on with all of this. So, I want to see season 2, but like my sister came into town this week. So like my off days were entertaining her. instead
Hey,
of
you're here, so like you should be like Curtis should be on like cloud 57 right now with how happy he is you're here.
Yeah.
Oh,
you have to go back and watch.
Yeah, you need to
happy
go back and find
he
out
was.
like how it occurred that he ended up being here, because I was legally required to allow him on the show tonight.
Correct.
I'll have to talk to you after. We got a letter from his lawyer. So
I ended up.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm standing by that. Like this was Matt's show. This was his idea. I'm standing by that. So, you know,
I like.
Okay.
I like to
Just
think it is all
taking
of
his
our
toys.
show.
I mean, it's all of our show now, but you
Welcome back.
started it with Sean, and you brought me in, and then we brought Curtis in. So it's, but like, there's a part of me because you started it. It's always going to be Matt's show.
what does that tag under my name say? Oh yeah. I'm the one that's always here. Okay. And last I heard, we're in America and possession's 9/10 of the law. So yeah. So there you go.
You know what's funny? I think this is the right time to talk about this a little bit. So obviously Jesse is correct.
I'm sorry, Ryan.
Oh,
whatever
I'm
this is,
enjoying
I'm
every
sorry.
minute of this.
So
We're good.
Jesse
We're good.
is right. It started with me and Sean. We wanted a place to vent, talk about stuff outside of He-Man. And and then obviously like Jesse was brought in, and then we decided to
hold on. Wait a minute. Stop right there. Jesse was brought in. Why?
Because he was Sean's friend, and Sean said,
Nope.
hey, we need to get this dude in here.
You're not being honest. Jesse was brought in because you saw that he was a rising star in the community, and you guys wanted to latch yourself to him.
This happened.
as he
This
took you
happened
off.
before. This happened well before
He was on with
I
us
found Mythic
before
Legions.
his resurgence of Just Shelve It and all that, which is amazing, and I love Jesse and everything he puts out. But yeah, like I think that all happened afterwards, correct, Jesse? If I'm remembering the timeline correct.
I don't remember exactly the timelines, but like I was on OffWorld and doing OffWorld with you guys on Legends of Grayskull.
Yep.
Before I ever went to the first Legions Con, I went to in 2021.
Correct.
So
yeah, I mean that's like they may have had you on as a guest, but when they
I was on every episode of OffWorld except for one, I think.
Okay.
Right. The Spider-Man.
Okay, go ahead. Continue, Dooch. Jesse's on. Okay, go ahead.
So, and that's kind of... So then Jesse came on. We did it here and there. You know, it came out on the Legends of Grayskull channel. And then, you know, it's like... It was actually after... Well, we were always kind of talking about me, Sean, and Jesse, like, hey, we need to make this like a thing. You know, its own thing. And then we had, after Legions Con, we had you, Curtis, and Billy Beige on. And I think it was actually me who, after that episode, was like, we should bring Curtis in as a fourth on OffWorld. Was it Jesse? Maybe it was Jesse. But I wholeheartedly agreed. But what's interesting, so then we developed OffWorld. We were going to do a bi-weekly because of Jesse's D&D and my hectic life with kids. And then Curtis and Sean's were like, well, we're going to jump on the off weeks, you know, and we're going to do a show. And obviously me and Jess said, hey, have at it, you know. It's all of our show. But what's interesting is if you go way back, even before Jesse was involved, before we brought Jesse on, like one of the things that Sean and I were talking about with OffWorld was like, hey, we could do it as like a rotating group of people. This was way back in the Legends of Grayskull OffWorld days. So, and we're like, and we did. If you go back to Legends OffWorld episodes, like we got Jeremy DeWitt on one, you know, like we rotated some dudes in and out. And so it's kind of all full circle here that now on your off weeks you're bringing in these awesome members of the community like Ryan and Oz and Greg and Joe and Chris and damn it, I'm forgetting someone's name.
Alexander.
Alexander, thank you. I love Alexander too. I met him at MesquiCon. It's just kind of interesting now with the off weeks, like you're going back to a premise that we originally had. And so yeah, it's just kind of a full circle moment here.
So just to recap what I heard, just to make sure that I understand before I call your lawyer tomorrow.
Yes.
Your original intent was to have other members on here and rotating, and you didn't have a problem. In fact, it was your quote unquote your idea to have other people on here. So if we did that and we had other people on there, you should have no legal problem with that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Sounds good. Think you and your lawyer and I will have a very good conversation tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, I already declined your offer that you made me earlier. So once you stipulate the each and every Friday night, like.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the requirement,
Right.
It's in the song.
So yeah, so I've already declined your offer, so we're good now.
Yeah, I mean some of us have our priorities in order, and others are you guys. So,
so Ryan, what did you think of Loki season 2?
He hasn't seen it.
I didn't watch it yet.
Okay.
Oz, have you seen Loki yet? Season 2?
You're still muted, Oz.
I have not. I actually don't have Disney Plus, and the person whose account I was sharing at the time no longer has Disney Plus. So I need to find somebody else's account to share.
I love it.
I'm a Disney Plus freeloader, baby. The House of Mouse does not need more money from me, even though I support them wholeheartedly.
They're gonna start cracking down on the password sharing.
Yes, supposedly Netflix.
Everybody's doing it now.
It's
I'm still buying. So.
All right.
At least they're not sending, Pinkertons and BlackRock into your house to steal some magic cards back because the store accidentally sold them to you early.
That was pretty wild. Huh?
Ooh,
that was
Hasbro banging down doors, getting their cards back.
Did you hear about that, Oz?
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not hear about this. What happened?
Brief story is a couple months ago, a pretty big, I don't know if you would call him influencer or member of the Magic the Gathering community, had pre-ordered whatever the upcoming release was. His shop called him, told it was in. He went, picked it up, and he was opening them on air or whatever, like the next day or within a couple days. I might have some of the details wrong. Like actual Pinkertons, which I did not think were a thing that existed anymore, showed up at his house and took the stuff because the store sold it to him like a week early. It might have been the Lord of the Rings ones, maybe. It was around that time. It was like the summer.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so he had them early, but it wasn't like he went out of his way to like finagle it some back channel thing.
Right.
It was a mistake.
It was a
They
mistake.
just called him up and said his order was in, and he picked up his shit.
And I saw some article and I looked it up, but like BlackRock and the Pinkertons and like all these other things are like under the company that like owns Hasbro. So it's like this whole weird, like it's so weird how all, not to get like conspiracy theory, but like weird that those things are falling in the same domino of or the same line of dominoes.
I really feel that probably had something also to do with more Lord of the Rings, because like if it's the Lord of the Rings set, I could see where maybe the people who own Lord of the Rings or whoever those rights fall under were probably trying to crack down on that a little harder than I see Hasbro going after, or just Hasbro themselves going after early release Magic the Gathering.
Weren't the people that went to his door like armed and stuff too? Like the
Pinkertons, they're like they were, I'm pretty sure they were like, I thought they had been like disbanded because they were considered unlawful or something like way back in the day.
Right.
But no, they still exist and they're employed by the company that is like over Hasbro or there's some connection there.
So they're like private security then.
It's private security. Yeah.
Wow. That's intense. Man, remind me never to pick up anything from Hasbro early ever.
It made me really question continuing to buy like D&D stuff because WizKids
Oh man, yeah.
is it's all, I think it was actually WizKids because I think WizKids is the company, aren't they the ones that put out Matt? It's all connected. It's a thing. Look it up.
Yeah, I will have to look into that a little bit more just to see who owns rights to what anymore. It gets very confusing. Like shit was pretty crazy back in the 80s with rights and who owned what and who could do what. And honestly, like I don't think it's gotten better. I think it's gotten a lot worse and a lot murkier.
Yeah. Like if I knew I got something early, I would not be posting it online. So it's kind of like, I mean, if that guy knew he was doing something early, like he shouldn't, if he was that into it, he should have known better. But still, the Pinkertons, I think, is a bit extreme.
That I feel too. Yeah, because like if you watch anything about like the Pinkertons protected payroll back on like the wagon trains and shit, you do not want to fuck with a Pinkerton.
Like they're usually
I gotta tell you guys, before this story came up and Jesse told me about this, I had never heard about the Pinkertons. I had no idea who they were.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
man,
they're bad guys a lot in like westerns and stuff, or at least like
depending.
shady. Yeah, usually they're usually not portrayed in a good way in movies.
Right. Yeah. They were a private security firm that basically ran amok in the days of the Wild West.
Oh, I love running amok. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that down on your notes. Oz brought up run amok. It's got to score me some points back after the pineapple.
Oh, absolutely.
But
so
yeah,
real quick, Google. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Oz.
No, I was just gonna say, like, so back in the Wild West when it was very unlawful, Pinkertons were essentially just making up the law how they saw fit. Now, mind you, they were often employed to keep, again, like payroll stuff safe or hunt down like they were like bounty hunters in a lot of ways too. But they're often portrayed in a very negative light because the extreme methods that they would use to get the job done. But that's why a lot of people hired them, because they got the fucking job done.
So like, and I'm just trying to piece this all together in my brain, which is kind of slow. So like in like the old West movies, when somebody's like robbing a train to steal like payroll stuff, like these are the guys that would go and hunt them down. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. If most of the time they were hired as security to protect the payroll in the first place, and if you beat them on that train and got the money, then they definitely came at your ass hard because now you've tarnished their name. Like you beat the Pinkertons, they're not going to let that slide. So they would come at you even harder.
And where does the name come from? Was that like
the last name?
Okay.
It was the last name of Alan Pinkerton. It was the head of the Union Army Secret Service and Intelligence Division from 1861 to 62. Started the Pinkerton Detective Agency in the 50s. And the legislation was passed to ban them from being hired by the government. So the government has a law that they're not allowed to hire them because their ways are too extreme to be supported by the government.
So then toy companies were like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get them now. Now that they lost their government contracts, go get my magic cards.
Yeah.
And the Pinkertons themselves are sitting there slinking like, we repo fucking toys.
My buddy Custom says you also face the Pinkertons in Red Dead Redemption 2. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, because they robbed a payroll train.
Did the same thing. So, listen, Joe, don't be trying to get me to play another game. You already got me playing this Baldur's Gate, which is taking up my time. I should be painting. So you should be ashamed of yourself trying to get me to play video games. So, what else is going on, guys?
Well, besides the fact that you clearly need to play Rootin' Tootin' Cowboys.
Okay.
Like that's what I started to
game.
That's what happens after you eat beans at the campfire. And everybody sits around in a circle trying to light farts with it. I gotta say, like that was probably
better.
That was actually the last. That was the last game I was playing before I had to sell my Xbox a couple years back.
Rootin' Tootin'
And I gotta,
Cowboys.
well, yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, it's been
Oh.
that long since I've been a gamer at this point. But man, I gotta say, like, that game was just so much fun. I'd ride around for hours on horseback, doing pretty much basically doing what I did with Skyrim and all the Elder Scrolls games, just riding around for hours exploring every fucking thing.
Just as Starfield. You know what? I was actually thinking about playing that, but then they don't have it for PS5, so I couldn't. So yeah. But yeah, it did look interesting.
I was still working at GameStop when they first started like showing off announcements for Starfield. And I was just like, man, this game is gonna be something else. And actually, Payne's Toy Samples, who was in the chat earlier, he did a live stream a little while back where he was playing some Starfield. He was looking into getting this some gaming live stream, and I gotta tell you, that game, it's way different from the early version that I saw of it back at GameStop Managers Conference like 100 years ago. But I'm glad that they worked and refined on it because it looks so much more polished now.
So to kind of change the subject here, but I know Ryan was talking a little bit earlier about, Legion's Con's coming up. Obviously, we're only a few weeks away. Figure it'd be interesting to kind of go around and just get like Jesse getting stressed now because it's a few weeks away.
Yeah,
Figured it'd be cool to kind of go around and just get like 3 things that for you are must gets, like things that you have to purchase or acquire or whatever at Legion's Con. I'll start with Jesse, and then we'll kind of wrap around and hopefully catch Dooch when he pops back on. So, Jesse, are there?
Oh, he's there.
Oh, Dooch is there.
He's there. He's just laying behind his name so nobody can see him.
We'll start with Dooch then. Dooch, what are 3 things for you that you have to acquire at Legion's Con?
Oh, that I have to acquire. Thistlethorn would be nice.
Okay.
He's one that I've been hunting for a while.
Might be a little pricey, but
he can, but he's also got a tendency to pop up on the 4-H table from time to time. So
that's true.
I'm kind of holding out that this will be one of his magical elf appearances. I want to get Jesse into a bathtub. That will probably be my hardest.
Not happening.
Acquirement. But honestly, the last thing is just to get all of us in one room together.
That would be cool.
And to finally be able to give, Sean a hug, Jesse probably a firm handshake. As we don't look in each other's eyes. I don't know. You're very prudish.
I'll accept a hug. I just don't want to
get in the
with you.
Going on
No,
here.
that's not a progression.
I
would say after hug, bathtub is probably the next step.
Right.
No, you guys have really weird
Ask Darnell.
Think of it this way. It's just a scaled down hot tub.
Yeah,
I don't want to get in a hot tub with any of you guys either. I'm sorry.
Yes, you do.
Like,
come on.
I only get in a hot tub by myself. Hot tubs are gross.
That's fair.
Even if they're properly maintained, hot tubs are gross. What happened to Dooch?
He was mad because you wouldn't get in the tub with
him.
So he just left.
So mad he left.
I hit my camera.
I don't know what Greg's
biggest thing is
apologizing
just
for.
getting us together and
getting
I
getting
feel
a
so
off-world
close
picture of us together would be cool.
Yeah. I feel so close to Sean and Jesse, but I've literally never been in the same time zone as them. So
nice.
Yeah.
Jesse, what about you? 3 things that you're looking forward to getting at Legion's Con.
I'm not going to wuss out and use the feel good Mr. Rogers answer that everybody expects me to say.
Wow.
I want to get the exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I don't know. I mean, I want to get a variety of parts if I can from other people. And as far as like stuff that the horsemen have at their table, I'd love to get a Zarya or like a Malachi Cinderhorn or Asterion, because those are 3 in my top old lists.
Great
That
figures.
I'm not paying back end prices for or secondary market prices for.
Yeah. All right, Ryan.
I didn't get any last year, so I'm going to be getting full customs. And I snoozed on the dwarf that you got from LeBron, and I regret it every fucking day. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm looking to get some Dio pieces. Really excited for the dwarf tower.
They're from Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously the exclusives, but that's kind of low on my list because I feel like everybody's going to be excited for those. No offense, Jesse.
I'm not offended.
But yeah, it's going to be a fucking great time.
I'm okay with people not agreeing with me.
Whoa.
What do you mean? People can disagree and still be friends? No.
If you come at me and tell me I'm wrong or my opinion's dumb because I like a thing, that's a different story. But if you just say, hey, I like something different, we're good.
Okay. Fair.
Your opinion's dumb because you got stupid hair and I'm jealous because I don't.
Well, you do. It's just in a different spot. Like if you were upside down, you would look right.
It's just
so.
Well, that's because I spent like 4 hours choosing my manscaping for my dwarf dick. Wait, what?
Jesse's got lost on that one. Oz, what are you looking forward to getting at Legion's Con?
Well, hands down, I want to try to go for the exclusives because you're only really going to be able to get these at the cons, so that's a no-brainer. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. I'm just starting to get back into conventions, so it's been a lot of fun. I was able to get some of the pre-release stuff for Cosmic 2 while I was at PowerCon. Want to continue that. I definitely want to get is it Vorgus Vermilion? I'm still learning all the names here, but that version 2 I want to get. Waltor the Mad, clearly. But the biggest thing for me, in all honesty, is just really being able to be again around more people from the Cabal, getting to meet Dooch face to face. I mean, I've already met Jesse. Dooch can be jealous because I've already gotten a Jesse hug, got a couple of them while at PowerCon. So just saying, he is a great hugger. You're missing out on that experience.
And guess what? Oz, did any of those happen in a bathtub?
No, we were far away from tubs. And even if we were, I'm pretty sure Jesse and I would have politely declined as not to offend each other that we just don't want to spend time in a tub together.
Oz is sharing a room with me and Sean at the convention. I don't plan on being in the bathtub with either of them at the same time ever.
I don't plan on being in the bathroom at the same time as either Jesse or Sean. Period.
I mean, you don't want to be in the bathroom when I am. I promise you that.
Well, you guys are just wasting efficiency here. Like, it's much quicker.
Yeah.
One brushes her teeth, one poos, and one takes a shower. Like, that's just...
I am not brushing my teeth while someone else is pooping their particles into the air. It's bad enough,
That's just poor hygiene.
Their particles in the air.
Look, man, if you smell poop, you're getting that in your mouth.
When I hit
if you smell a fart, it is going on your tongue.
That's feces.
That's science.
Oh, damn.
We killed Curtis.
That's why you don't leave your toothbrushes out on the counter.
Or you have that little covering that goes over top of the toothbrush.
I mean, yeah, that's
but
fair.
even that's still still not the greatest protection. Like,
there it is.
Put it in a
Look,
Ziploc
there it is. We got
I restrict my farts when I'm in public around people. Like if I'm alone in my car, that's one thing. But if I'm at work or if I'm out in public, it doesn't happen. So when I get in that bathroom, it's ground zero, baby. Like you do not want to be near there.
I will rain hell on
No.
people in an elevator just because it's funny.
Yeah.
Can I
Agreed.
make one point here?
Sure. Go ahead.
You know, a lot of people like to blame me or you, Curtis, for derailing the show and getting the toilet humor and everything. But I would just like to point out that tonight, when it was just the four of us, we're talking about distribution and change.
We were talking about dwarf
economics.
dick.
But then
I'm
the
literally
second
giving the
Jesse
viewers
jumps
what they
on,
asked for.
It's poop particles and dwarf dick. Like it's, I
Dwarf
think
dick
we
started before I
think
logged
we
on.
figured
So
out
that's
who's
not me.
bringing the show down juvenilely.
I'm
Look,
literally
okay.
giving our fans what they want.
Which is
I
poop in
did
their
have
mouth.
that. This is a whole different
I
stream.
may have found my OnlyFans channel premise.
poo in your mouth, but look, I'm just gonna say this has started to feel a lot more like an Ostradamus toy stream with the fact that we're going that route with the prolapse show that I had.
It
ages
gets a
ago
little
now.
bit more loopy the later we
Prolapse.
go.
Yeah, you weren't on that night, Jesse, and
that's
be
a
glad
science.
you weren't.
If it was
Well-
prolapsed, I'm glad I wasn't.
I'll tell you what, lessons were
Stuff
learned
hanging
about
out the
doing.
wrong way.
Oh, it was hanging out, and ooh. There was.
So-
let's say you'll never see it because I did some really fancy editing, and you can't figure out exactly when it happened. But if you look at some people's reactions, like there's some little jump cuts that you just don't notice in one of my streams where prolapse happened. But that's what you get from an open mic night. So,
All right. Well, my three things for Legion's Con.
Curtis, what are you looking forward to?
prolapse.
I mean, there's obviously the normal stuff like the exclusives and seeing people and all this and that. But like three things that I know, like I've got on my list, like I need to make sure that I get before I leave, because there's some things that I just missed last year because you just run out of time. So I've kind of got a list going of stuff I absolutely have to get. One is calendar from Trevor. Like that's a yearly must now. I gotta make sure I stop by Trevor's table and get a calendar from him because that thing's awesome. I know I need to go to Alexander Deshaw's table and get one of his stables for the horses, the Mythic Legion horses.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Because those stables, especially the double stable he does with, it's got like the little food trough and stuff like that. Like it's just so cool. So I need to pick up one of those. And then one of the probably the main thing that I want to get while I'm at Legion's Con, and I can't forget this. I want to get a picture of Dooch and Anthony Halcyon with their arms around each other, just like just standing there like buddy.
I love it.
Yeah. I want to get an Anthony Halcyon Dooch picture. I think that would be great. Maybe even like one of them like turning and kissing the other one on the cheek or something. I mean, we're not going full on bathtub or anything, but
You know what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Full on bathtub. That's a
Curtis.
phrase from now on.
Curtis bringing people together.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. And then anytime that he gives you shit going forward, I would just post that like online, like in the comics. I would just post a picture of you two together.
Can we do the Step Brothers pose with like me lower and him with his hand on my shoulder and us both?
Oh, I thought you were gonna put your balls on his drum set.
I was going to say only if Anthony
I
can
mean, if
put
I
his
make it back
balls
to his house, but
on
like if
Duke's
Jesse
drum.
won't let me in his bathtub, I don't think Anthony's letting me in his house.
You can get in the bathtub, just not while I'm in it. Like I don't
You
care.
heard?
If you
I got an
use
open
the bathroom.
invitation.
Anthony goes to the bathroom for a second. He comes back, and you're like, "I rub my balls on everything on your table." All your dwarves have had my testicles on them.
Help me, step bro. My hands are stuck to your dwarf tower.
According to Curtis, it's not that impressive, though.
I love Anthony.
Good stuff.
Oh, God.
What else, guys?
I don't. Why? What is he talking about? A rosebud?
Bud was there for that stream. He remembers it well. It still gives him nightmares. This is the infamous show that actually really started the whole clubhouse that it's evolved into, where everybody just hangs out for 7-8 hours. I did an
Gotcha.
open mic night, was getting all kinds of people to just come on and hang out, and I dropped the link in the chat a couple times. And the first time I wasn't screening at all, and then there was some prolapse, and I was like, whoa, let's get that off of here. Second time around,
prolapse, like an actual image of something.
yeah,
Oh.
a video. Dude was playing a video of it. As I added him to the stream, boom, camera comes on, and there it is, and that's what we were looking at.
Okay, all right.
So
that now it makes more sense. I thought you were like being euphemistic or something. You're
oh
talking.
no,
Okay,
like it's legitimate.
Okay. All right.
Then
You're
now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Then later
Just
I
all
was
hanging
just
out.
like, I was screening people, so like I had to make sure like you were actually sitting there with a camera, like capable of doing being streaming, And so this guy came on and he was like, my pappy and I used to do back in blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, and then he just boom cuts to the same video, and I'm like, son of a bitch, you got me. So it was like a 6-hour stream, and I had to hunt for like 3 minutes of footage to edit out the next day.
Yikes. Well, okay, Joe, I don't know what you're saying, yucking his yum. I'm not doing anything to anybody's yum. That is none of my business.
Yucked all over my yum, sir.
I
All
certainly
over
did
the
not.
yums.
No, I didn't. I don't do that around other people.
I'm just sitting here thinking that, thinking about Baldur's Gate 3, and, I did get a chance to pick out my penis size, but it never once asked me what I wanted my butthole to look like. So
Clean is the only answer to
your
that.
anus is going to be.
Well, yeah,
Nothing
but
else matters.
Bleached.
yeah, but you bleed like
Straight
so that
up
you don't
bleed
have the dark.
butthole.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Just
Especially since he's a Duragar, so he's already gray skin. You wouldn't want like you wouldn't want to be stained brown when you're gray skinned. That would really stick out. It would clash. Totally.
it would be
clash
less
a lot.
obvious than any of our skin tones.
I don't know. Gray. I don't know. I don't know, man.
See, Jesse always takes us there. It's always.
I mean,
Jesse.
the boom boom hole is a popular hole. I'm just saying.
It's not for me.
Popular port.
It's my least favorite hole.
Yeah, it's not for me. Like I'm just not. It's story time. Okay, so
Oh boy, Hedgehog, I'm sorry for whatever Curtis is about to say.
We are about to go down Trauma Alley and join it.
This is Trauma Alley. Okay, so
God,
rewind, back it up to about early 80s, right? And I'm young, and there's the whole AIDS epidemic going around and stuff, and I didn't know much about AIDS. Okay,
Nice.
I mean, I'm a kid. I don't really know much about AIDS. But
I hope not.
what I had heard is that gay guys would get it. And I'm thinking, what makes a gay guy different than me? And I'm like,
Not
well,
as
they
much as you think.
they put penises in buttholes. And so I thought that AIDS, and this is my kid brain, I thought that AIDS was when you got poo particles on your wiener. And it had nothing to do with some virus or whatever. It was just basically poo particles on your wiener.
Right. That makes sense.
So
Why you
I
don't brush
could
your teeth.
never, right. So I would make sure that I would always wash like when I'm in the shower, I would wash my wiener first and then wash the buttocks.
Front
And
to back.
I wouldn't use the same side of the washcloth. Like I would have to switch the sides. Like you can't, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to get any transference because I didn't want to get AIDS, obviously, because I heard it was terrible. So, so yeah,
The pink
So
eye
to
of
this-
the one eye.
to this day, I wash in that order, and I switch the sides of the washcloth just out of habit because I know that's not how you get AIDS. You get it from monkeys. But
Oh my
Was
god.
that racist?
So in Mallrats,
yeah,
Yes.
did you think they gave him AIDS and not diphtheria?
I don't know. I just always thought that was the connection. Like it was like
I mean, he was eating the pretzels. He wasn't like
Still putting the poop particles in the mouth. I'm
Right, in the
just
mouth.
saying.
Oh man.
In the
Yeah.
mouth.
Curtis didn't say anything about mouth.
That's
But
true.
if he
Say
rubbed the
on the
pretzels
penis.
on his balls, then he would have gotten AIDS.
Well,
Yeah.
clearly that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Right.
Rub chocolate pretzels all over your balls.
But I was like deathly terrified as a
Jesse.
child of any sort of transference. You know, like I don't know, people are front to back wipers or back to front wiper. I was always like front to back wiper because I didn't want to get any of those poop particles anywhere near my junk because I was afraid that was going to happen. So
How flexible were you as a child?
I don't know. I mean, I was a lot more flexible
That
than I am
came
now.
out weird. I mean, like that was never a worry for me.
Well, 'cause you
Wiping
didn't
that
have
I was
the
like, uh-oh.
scientific understanding that Curtis did.
Curtis
I
is a rare
still- I
dwarf where
don't
his is
think
not
I
micro.
still
It's
Have
like
that
4
learning.
feet long.
Well, I also had, I mean, I was very confused about how things worked back then. Like, a guy in kindergarten told me that the way that babies are made is that the boy puts his penis in the girl and then he pees in her.
Yes.
And that's how babies were made. So I thought
So
that for
that's how
probably
it
till I was in
works.
my teens. And then I had health class and I'm like, oh, it's not pee. So I didn't, yeah. So there you go.
This
All
is a
right.
weird, fucked up
We
show.
are learning.
Jesus
We
Christ.
are learning a lot about Curtis's hygiene. Ryan sounds like he's checked out now. He's not coming back. Me, this just feels like Saturday night.
Well,
Note to self: don't use the washcloth at Curtis's house.
the one side is fine.
Well, which
the other
side are
not.
you using it?
Yeah.
Right? Which side are you using? Let's not
Both
forget.
sides should be fine. Like
And I never use the same washcloth twice. Like before. Like I've heard. Like I was listening. I think it might have been why my wife is going to kill me. Where they're like, oh well, when you get done and you use your towel, like your body's clean, so you can just use it indefinitely. No, it gets like
No.
mildewy
That's-
and nasty.
Yeah.
Like you got to wash that
That's-
stuff.
that's from New Girl.
No, but
they
but-
had a conversation.
yeah, they had a skit on that too. But my wife is going to kill me. Guys were talking about it, and it's like same thing with a washcloth. Like, oh well, you're using soap and water and this and that, so you should be able to use it multiple times. No, man, you use it once, you wash it, and then you put it back. You fold and put it back in the drawer. You can't multiple use
Maybe
washcloth.
twice.
I don't know. I'm not even down with that.
Maybe. I said maybe.
Maybe. Okay. But yeah, like towels, you get one use.
So, how do you feel
and you're
about a
being
loofah?
washed. So, loofah Vandross.
All right, guys. I'm gonna bounce. This
Yes.
has been a blast.
You were never really wanted anyway. So.
I know, but I still love you, Curtis. I love you.
We're gonna.
Jesse.
I think we're probably closing out the show unless you guys got anything else.
All right. Okay.
Anybody else have anything?
I don't know what else we could possibly say. At this
You don't know
point.
how to follow that.
I'm sorry.
I've
love you
never
all.
I've never washed in a creek, so I don't know that I've ever been in a creek. If I'm being honest.
You
So,
wash in a creek, you just shit in a lake.
I have shit in a lake. I have not washed in a creek, so I got
See,
standards.
never shit in a lake. I always shit in a hole.
Real quick
Dig the
before we
latrine
leave,
hole.
Oz, tell these folks where they can find you next.
All over YouTube, realistically.
Yes.
But tomorrow night, of course, on my channel, Ostradamus Toys, we're going to be doing the live hangout, which is probably going to be for 7.
And
If
now I
everybody
know what
tries to
video
convince
do.
if everybody tries to convince me to break the record again tomorrow, I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, we're probably going to do like another 5-6 hour stream. We're going to, again, provided that everybody's there, we will be unboxing the Red Death and honestly just hanging out, because that is what my live streams really equate to. Unless we're doing Legion's class where we have a more thought out topic of some kind to go over. It's just a fun hangout live stream where anybody's, fair game to come and join and just talk toys, talk. Apparently we're the number one source on dietary facts or whatever. I don't know. That's a thing that's been happening lately. But yeah. You find me on Ostradamus Toys tomorrow night. We're going to go live somewhere between 9 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. And we'll carry on to the wee hours of the morning. Sunday, I will be over on Allison Troy's channel, Retro Toy Princess. We're going to be coloring some Ghostbuster pictures.
Nice.
And of course, this upcoming Thursday, we'll be back over on Skelevator's channel doing another wonderful episode of Toy Frenzy leading up to Halloween. So that's going to be a lot of fun too. And like I said, you never know where else you'll probably see me. Yeah, I might get invited to like 5 or 6 different lives this weekend. Who knows?
Yeah, just go around to different YouTube channels and you'll probably see Oz somewhere. So,
yep. I'm going to find some software so I can start jumping in people's StreamYards without them actually like sending me an invite, so I could just go through.
I'm sure there's an option for StreamYard where if you pay them enough money, they'll let you do that.
I'm going to call it Oz Streaking, where I'll just be like,
nice. Ryan, you guys got a Saturday Day Live tomorrow?
No, it's Hedgehog's child's birthday.
Oh, okay.
Happy early birthday.
Ooh, happy early birthday.
Yeah, so
I hope that child
is
is not
way
watching
more important.
the show.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
children.
I'm sure he bought him a Barbie because apparently, according to him, every figure that's ever bought is a Barbie. So,
Jesus
good luck
Just
with
keep
that.
talking, Ryan, or we're gonna have another 8 hours.
Okay, so no show this weekend. Are you guys doing one Sunday, or just nothing?
I don't know about Sunday. I know
Okay.
that tomorrow is definitely not going to happen.
Okay.
But probably not Sunday either. I might just be talking out of my ass. Who knows?
All right, we'll stay tuned. You guys will post in the Dork Lair group if you guys do decide to do one. Cool.
Yeah, Dork Lair, Cosmic Legions, Mythic, all over.
Cool. Jesse, where can folks find you?
Huh? Oh, well, on Sunday nights, Curtis and I do a show called Shooting the Shelf over on the Just Shelf It channel, where we're interviewing the one and only Brad Jones this Sunday night. So tune in. Our new start time
this week.
Huh?
I thought we had Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Gotcha.
It just sounded like Brad Jones.
Gotcha.
No brown
Our
swagger.
new start time at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we're going live
Good
an
call
hour
out.
early. Starting this week, that'll be the new time going forward. And
For Crybabies on the East Coast.
Yes.
I watched the replay. God damn it!
I think that was a decision we just came to be like, hey, let's just do this earlier. You gotta be mean about it.
Good. Yeah, I'm just fucking around.
Mythic Minutes, usually on Thursday nights, did a live studio room in the Cabal last night that Curtis showed up for.
It was popping.
It was. And let's see what else. I don't know what else. OffWorld on Friday nights when I show up, which is pretty much the second and fourth Fridays of the month.
Beautiful. Dooch, where can people find you, sir?
You can find me at the Legends of Grayskull page, Legends of Grayskull on YouTube, anywhere pods are cast. You can also find me in Anthony Halseal's bathtub, and you will not find me on Offworld 2.0. Curtis, where can they find you, buddy?
With Jesse Sunday, and then next Friday we will have a Offworld.
I do want to throw out there that
1.0.
you will.
Go ahead. What's that, Oz?
I was just going to say, you can also find Dooch trying to sneak into Jesse's tub.
Oh, I'll get there. There's no trying. That's a must.
Next Friday we do have a regular off week or off world episode, and it's going to be something Halloween themed. Don't have the specifics yet, but it's going to be Halloween themed, and we'll have. I think Jesse's putting out an image of it for the link later this week, and we'll have some Halloween funness. So cool,
Agreed.
Beautiful. Well, appreciate everybody that joined and watched us live. Everybody that watches on replay, we love you a little bit less, but still pretty good. And until next time, we'll see you on the Offworld.